Welcome. It is Sunday. It is Warhammer Sunday. It is actually a little bit warmer than it was when I started the stream going, which is not a good sign. Welcome one and all to Warhammer Sunday, the weekend time when I work normally on my Warhammer army, the unending forces of the Holy Contrivance, my Principality of Xeon-themed Warhammer army. But at the moment, I'm simply working my way through building up all the Warhammer Conquest kits to get them out of the big box full of packages and onto the shelf so I can paint them later in the year. Today, we are going to be working on issues 27 and 28, which is the Death Guard Rhino. So we're going to be building that today. So that's what our plan is for today. Now, as always, if you're watching this, welcome. If you've not seen one of these before, I will basically sit here and I'll try and do some work, but what I'll really do is talk for 3 hours and maybe get a little tiny bit of work done at the same time. This isn't one of those streams where you just sit watch someone gluing something and they never say a word. This is one of them streams where I do mostly talking to you guys. This is your show. I depend on you to give me things to talk about, so do feel free to ask me things in the chat. I've got the chat here on my iPad right in front of me. If you want to ask a question, as always, put it in big, fat, capital letters so I have a chance of seeing it. If you can't access the chat, then you need to be watching on the YouTube channel, so make sure you hit the little YouTube icon that's down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the video player. Click on that, it'll take you to the YouTube page where you can see the live chat. That's the chat there, but that's not the typey bit. That's just so people who haven't got the chat can see it. But yes, welcome. If you want to ask me a question, put it in big, fat, capital letters. If you want to, you can do a super chat, which is the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That will put your comment in a big coloured box and it'll make a noise. There'll be a little thing that pops up on the corner of the telly screen up here somewhere. And that means I'll definitely see your comment. But if you can't get access to chat at all, don't panic. You can just send me an email. My email address is always on the corner of the screen here. fox@modelmakingguru.com. You can send me an email. I may possibly get it during the show. Not guaranteed. But if I do, I can read it out. So there you go. As always, we are doing our stream boss battle is still ongoing. It says Model Making Guru, but the current stream boss, as you all know, is Simon Reynolds, my very good friend, or Kevin as we like to call him. He's the current stream boss. What is stream boss? If you've not seen this before, all the time there is at least one viewer who is the stream boss. And that person starts off with 100,000 health, and all the other viewers have to work to get his health to 0, and whoever gets his health to 0 wins a whole mess of Games Workshop and Forge World stuff of their choice. Basically, every time you do a super chat, like I said before, with the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat, or every time somebody subscribes to my channel and hits the notification bell, or every time you do a tip, which is the tip jar down here, streamlabs.com/Model Making Guru, it takes a bit of Simon's health off, and you can see here his health is 80,346. So it's come down a bit, little black bits of what's been knocked off. You can see there. Whoever deals the fatal blow that gets his health to 0, whoever gets him to 0, basically wins all the money raised through the tips and super chats. So the more you put through as a tip or a super chat, the more of his health you take off, and whoever then gets him to 0 basically wins a budget of all the money garnered through the tips and super chats. I put all that money to one side. I will then tell you how much is in the kitty. You then tell me what you want me to order for you from Games Workshop or from Forge World, and I just order it and send it to you with not a penny spent by yourself. When Simon became stream boss, he won £1 shy of 500 quid. So there you go. It's worth doing it. So get your super chats and tips and things coming through. And if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Well, when I got everything ready to do this stream, after yesterday, I couldn't do any work yesterday because it was too warm here in, the heat wave of Europe, although we didn't get much of it. But up to about an hour ago, it was like, it's not that warm today. It's probably going to rain later on, get a thunderstorm. It's all right. We can do the live stream. I can go ahead and get everything set up. The moment I started the stream going, the temperature's gone up like that, and I've got all the lights on. It's like, oh. So I shall last as long as I can. I should be all right. I think we're due a thunderstorm at any point now. It's really windy and cold outside. I've got nothing sucking the warm air out to the... I didn't set that up. Should have had my fan blowing out the window, but never mind. So, yes, so I shall last as long as I can. Before we go anywhere, I shall have a quick look at the chat and see who we have in. Now, I know for a fact, because I was there, that Pascal was, as always, well, not as always, but as usual, as most of the time, was the first in the chat. But I can't go that far back in the chat. He actually posted a comment literally minutes after I set up the live stream this morning. The first one I have is Chris at Gross Models. I shall do some Sazabi while I wait. He's working on the real grade Sazabi. Pascal Leavers, I think most of us are working on the Sazabi now. Yes, true. So welcome to Chris and Pascal. Chris is in. Dad is in as well. Dad from Scaly Models. He's one of your other mods along with Chris. Both of those two are in. They're both lovely. All of you know by now. I don't have to tell any of my regulars, but if you're new to the stream, I do have like 100 mods in the stream at any one time. There's like 100 people who are all my mods on my channel. So this is my stream. It's nothing to do with my sponsor Z models. So you can say rude words in chat. You can swear. You can be all grown up. It's fine. Don't cross Dad. Dad is soft as butter, but if you cross him, he'll break your spine with his little finger. He'd break you in half. But yeah, they're all. You can be a bit raucous in chat. Obviously, no politics and religion, nothing like that. And don't be a tool, but swearing is allowed. Spiddy Curate is in chat, but he said he won't be in chat. Okay, he said he won't be in chat today. I'm on holiday with my son. Have a good one. Okay, thank you for not being in chat. I mean, even though you're in chat, you know what I mean. Yes, thank you for being in chat, even though you're not in chat. I kind of came out wrong. Welcome, Spid. I hope you're watching anyway. Hello, Junior Spid. There you go as well. We have Grey Wolf 011, Mordraka, and who else? Quanoman are all in. Welcome to all three of you. Mordraka is in Australia. G'day, bro. You won't be the only one, I suspect. Grey Wolf is in San Diego, California. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I get you got some hot temperatures going on there. And Quanoman is, of course, Manchester. All right, Manchester. Hey, smashing Bill in it. Well hard. Not as exotic as like California or Australia, but hey, still the best place in the world. Walter Wilmoth has just stopped in, he said earlier on. So Walter Wilmoth is in. Hello, Walter. He couldn't be in long though because he's off with his son going to spend some time teaching him how to climb. To which I said, all kids know how to climb. You have to teach them how not be climbing and suddenly falling. That's the trick. We have Simon Reynolds is in. Our Lord and Saviour, Kevin. Simon Reynolds, our current stream boss. I know it says Model Making Guru up there. It's because I pressed a button when I was setting him up as a stream boss and it all went a bit base over apex and it now says me, so it should say Kevin, but there you go. And the reason we call him Kevin is because it defaulted the name in Kevin the first time I set him up as a stream boss. So there you go. Who else have we got? We have Redlen 08 is in, and the chat just jumped. Hang on, let me go back again. Where's it gone? No. I've lost it now. Where was I? Oh. I saw Redlen, and then everything jumped. Where have we gone? Where was I? Well, Redlen, hello. Good afternoon, all having to watch on my phone as the iPad died and had to be wiped, and now I can't load YouTube and Netflix or eBay as it's too old. Yes, my Mama Fox had an old iPad, an iPad 2. No, an old original iPad, I should say. And then when she got a new one, I inherited hers. I think it was an iPad 2, actually. We've all moved past then, but when I first got this, I'm like, now I've finally got an iPad. It's brilliant. And it was like, it was 2 years out of date, and it was just hell on earth. It couldn't cope with anything. So yeah, the problem, if you've got an old iPad and you've not updated, like this is the phone I film with. I film non-live stuff with. It's an iPhone 5S, and it's obviously not been updated in years. But the problem is, of course, you can't, the software updates stop. And then if you have to wipe it and start again, it re-downloads the apps, but it can't re-download the new ones because it can't even get the latest system. So, yeah, you might have to get yourself a new iPad, dude. Might have to get a new iPad. It's not cheap, though, unfortunately. Or something else. Alternative tablets and products are available. We have Rinks near, finally able to watch the stream after a while. Welcome back, Rinks. Not seen you for a while. Hi, everyone, says Rinks. Alberto Grahalis is in. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Alberto. We have David Sanderson. Hi, everyone. Welcome, David. Chris says, "Oh, Kefling music. Kefling music. You've just shown your age there, Chris. That's proper Xbox 360 Blades dashboard, that is. Kefling music. Kingdom for Keflings. I don't know. Simon Reynolds asks everyone, how is everyone's Sazabi coming along? For those that don't know, and I'll talk about it in a second, but I am doing a Patreon reward bill for one of my patrons, George. People who support me on my top tier of Patreon tier, I'll say that again. People who support me at the top tier on my Patreon account, which is patreon.com/modelmakingguru, for 12 months get to choose a reward build, basically as a way of saying thank you for their 12 months of support. I build them something to the best of my abilities. At the moment, currently it's Warhammer kits of your choice, but for Simon, it was, at the time, it was, for George, sorry, it was Gunpla. So I'm building in the Master Grade Sazabi in a Shanghai Dragons colour scheme and weathered, potentially weathered with a Borderlands effect on it. But I'm building that. So we've started a group build in the Boom Hut. I did place a link in the chat on the Model Makers Boom Hut. There's a group build going on where the only rule is you have to build a Sazabi. It can be any Sazabi as long as it's a Sazabi. So if you're in the Boom Hut, there's a post, if you go to the announcements section at the top of the page, if you're on mobile, look at the announcements. There are all the rules and instructions of things in there. Get joining in. But Simon's asking how people are getting on, and Chris is saying he's done arms and shoulders, just the head and weapons to go, and Simon Reynolds says, I'm coming to terms with the fact I will not be done for the end date. The end date is, I think, the end of September. I'm far too obsessive with mould lines, says Simon Reynolds. Mickle Pickle is in, welcome Mickle. Wayne Haywood, welcome Wayne. Snowman HFC, hi all, just in time. George is in, welcome George. I may not even get started by the deadline yet finished, says George, and even it's George kind of running the group build. I can announce now that I have now finished. I've completed denubbing and sanding all the parts. They're all ready to go. I've got the trays ready. I just need to start the building. And the hope was I would have started it this week, but it's been too hot in here to do any work. So, yeah. So, it's ready to roll on that one. All the bits are ready. Gross Model says, I blame the idiot that set the deadline, to George, who is the idiot that set the deadline. Yeah, that guy sucks, says George. Scott Sutherland from Orkney is in. Afternoon. Oh, forgot. I always forget to put Guthorm in the view there. Hi Scott, our good friend Scott from Orkney. George says, if I didn't go into a Games Workshop, I'd probably be working on it now. Yeah. Let's have a look. Joe Bowditch is in. Welcome, Joe. I don't know how you can build kits in this heat. I tried last night. I just passed out, says Joe. I didn't do anything yesterday. I posted a picture in the Boom of my back garden where I spent all day yesterday because it was too damn hot. The thing is, it was hot outside and it was cool up here. And it usually is, because I always keep the curtains closed so it doesn't get too hot, because it gets the sun all day. So it was cool in here and it was hot outside. But as soon as I turned on all the lights to do any work, temperature goes... and a few people said, just get some air conditioning. But this is Britain. We don't do air conditioning because we'd use it for like a week out of the year. And you know what I mean? And I could have a fan, but unfortunately in most cases the fan is picked up by the microphone. So when I'm doing, if I do a live stream, it's not a problem because this big fat microphone filters it out. But if I'm doing a proper recording with the lavalier and stuff, it kind of picks up the fan noise, so it's not ideal. But yes, to Americans, they just say, just get some air conditioning. And we're like, yeah, we're British. We'd need it. It's like the same reason we don't use snow chains. Driving will be a lot easier with snow chains, but we'd need them for like a day a year. Does that mean we only see one side of the track frame clipped out and denubbed and sanded tonight, Fox, says Mordracker. Yeah, pretty much. I'll get about 3 bits denubbed. I think at this point, everybody's debating whether they'll even get the Sazabi finished before, before we land on Titan, basically. Let's just... 2036, if you're wondering. Let's have a look. Candygram from Mongo is in. Fluffy Guts is in as well, also from Orkney. Hiya, sorry I'm late. We were doing the horse's feet... butts raining. Well, I misread that. The horse's feet butts. I was like, wait, you're doing the horse's butts? Doing the horse's feet, but it's raining now, so back indoors. So we've got 2 Orcadians and 1 Australian. I'm sure we have more than 1 Australian normally. We're missing someone. Supposedly there's Ipswich is due a thunderstorm tonight. We were supposed to have thunder and lightning possibly last night, and we got a few spots of rain, and it stayed warm. It's kind of cooler today. It's not hot, so we're hoping that I'm hoping we're going to get some thunder, because I love thunderstorms. I love thunder and lightning. Whenever I play Fallout 4, I have the True Storms weather mod. I just turn it on to heavy rain because it's got thunder and lightning and it's raining and it's fantastic. Especially if you're walking around Boston, downtown Boston. Aviad Madar is in. Hi everyone, welcome Aviad. Osric 9000, hello chaps, hello Osric 9000. Chris the Pyro. Let's whiz through these, it's going to take him a while. Colin at Festus 67 Workshop is in. Hey Colin, he's another one of your mods. Again, he's lovely and fluffy. Like all the other mods, he's lovely and fluffy. But if you mess with him, he'll break you in half. So, yeah, be nice. Let's have a look. Quano Man says, I have an idea for how to help keep Fox cool under all his BBC studio lights. It's very technical, but does involve someone handling a water pistol with ice cold water to Mama Fox. Yeah, she was just walking past as I said that. I regret saying that out loud now. I build in waves if it's too hot since my air conditioning is in the living room and the wife doesn't like me building outside of my shop, says Alberto. Jordan Capuano is in. Welcome, Jordan. Interzone 88 is in. G'day. That's right. We've got 2 Australians now. There we go. G'day, bro. I'm only a bit Orcadian, says Fluffy Guts. Doesn't matter. You're in Orkney. You're Orcadian, as far as I'm concerned now. Simon Reynolds says, our flat looks out over the Marina Fox and the horizon is the rest of Ipswich. Watching thunderstorms from up here is amazing. And last comment is we've got Cynical Mank Steve is in. Welcome, Cynical Mank Steve. The only good thing about this heat is not long between coats of paint, but I'm having issues with almost drying on the brush. Oh, Who Am I UK 1 says afternoon all. Welcome, Who Am I UK. Came in just as I was wrapping up the talking about the chat there. So welcome to everybody. Welcome, welcome. Enormous cup of tea time. Now, I know I normally do drink coffee, and I've said this before. The reason I have an enormous cup of tea lately is because I've already had, this is my litre cup. I've already had a litre of coffee before the show starts. I can't have 2 litres of coffee. Right. Tyrone Key is in. Welcome, Tyrone. Just blowing my nose. Ooh. Right, so before we get going, I yesterday did pop along to my local Warhammering store to spend some time hanging out with my very good friend Chris, the manager there. And it was, of course, yesterday. Those of you who are Warhammer followers will know yesterday was Warhammer Day, a completely arbitrary, pulled out of their ass kind of special celebration day, which they're going to be doing from now on, which is on June the 29th for reasons. So yes, yesterday was Warhammer Day, so I went along to my local Warhammer store to see what goodies I could pick up. Now, I had a very serious reason. I'll show you what I got, but I had a very serious reason for going to the Warhammer store. The first thing I picked up was 2 cans of Dad Red. Dad's doing a little dance now. 2 cans of Dad. For those that don't know, Dad, Mike from Scaly Models in the chat, one of your mods, he loves red because he's a Liverpool fan. I mean, somebody has to be, I suppose. He's a Liverpool fan, so he loves Mephiston Red. So this is for George's Sazabi, which is going to be Shanghai Dragon, so it's reds and yellows. So I got myself 2 cans of Mephiston Red, because what I'm going to do for the outer armour, I could prime it and then paint it and then everything else. But one thing I've learned over the years is if you can get a primer that's the right colour, that's more than fine if you use that as your base paint colour. The beauty of Mephiston Red Primer, this is still rattle cans are all primers, is that it's basically exactly the same as Mephiston Red. It's a lacquer, but it's the same colour. So instead of doing a coat of primer and then a coat of paint, I'm going to do brush painting on top. Because you've got a lot of tolerances with these parts on the Bandai kits, they're quite small. You want to minimise how thick your paint job is. Doing a blast of Mephiston Red as the primer also counts as the base coat, so I'm eliminating an entire coat of paint. So, for the red parts, I've got myself 2 cans of Mephiston Red, yes. Not sure about the yellow parts yet. I'll have to do them just a brown primer or something similar, and then take it from there. So that is for the Sazabi, when I get round to it. Now, I did get myself, I got myself the Matalan PlayStation 1 Ridge Racer. I know it's not, I can't say anything. What's the thing? It's Atalan, isn't it? It's Atalan. I just can't call them anything but Matalan. It cracks me up every time I say it. I know these aren't Atalan, but they're just shut up. Anyway, I've got to think of an amusing name. It's really hard. So I've got the Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer! Now, the reason I've got this is, A, it looks cool. I wanted it anyway, but I did buy this for a serious reason. And that is to, first of all, complain about this style where they have the picture really small on the box. It could be that big. It could be that big. It'd look much better. It's because when I do George's Sazabi, I bought this. Just so you know, George, I bought this for your build. It's my excuse. When I do George's Sazabi, not only is it going to be in Shanghai Dragon's colours, so reds and yellows, and it's going to be weathered. If I can figure out how best to do it, I'm going to give it a Borderlands style paint job. And by Borderlands, I don't mean cell shaded, because Borderlands isn't cell shaded. It's more like comic book graphic novel cell shading in the days before they did it all on computer. It's what I used to do many years ago. You get a piece of water special card, you pencil in your artwork, you then do a very fine ink outline, then you go in and colour the whole thing with watercolours, and then you go in and do all your inking with either nib or brush. I used to use both nib and brush. Mostly I was an ink and nib job, because I like using the nibs, but I use brush as well. So what I'm going to do, that's what the Borderlands style kind of looks like. It's not cell shaded, it's weathered and beaten, and there's lots of colour. It kind of looks like that, plus a mixture of sort of 1970s, 1980s Industrial Light and Magic Star Wars filming model paint job with outlines. So I have got myself some India ink. I have obviously many brushes. So what I'm going to do before I commit to George's being in that style and then completely screw it up, I'm going to try building this and painting this and using it on that paint style on this, because it looks kind of like a Borderlands thing. I've been thinking about that. So I thought, why don't I just get this and quickly build it, give it a quick paint job and test out the paint process on this. And then if it looks kick-ass, I know then I can go ahead and do that on George's Sazabi. If it doesn't, or if I really suck at doing the outlining, everything else I'll be fine at. It's the outlining I'm not sure of. If I can get the outlining to work and I can do it well enough, then I know I can go ahead and do it on the Sazabi, because I want it to look as good as possible for George. It's a Patreon reward build, so it's got to look awesome. So I got that. My entire excuse is it's for George's Sazabi build. It's all for the reasons. It makes everything better for... There you go. I picked it up and I was like, yeah, I've thought of a reason now. I know. So that's for that anyway. I also picked up... I got myself... I didn't get one of that little Sister of Battle whose name I can't remember. Amalia, whatever her name was. They were sold out of those by the time I got there. But I did get myself the unpainted Funko Pop of the Primaris Intercessor. Store exclusive. Unless you go onto the Games Workshop website and buy it. I don't know. They said... Everywhere it said store, even store exclusive. He said you have to go in store and buy it, and they'll only make it available on certain days, unless you go onto the GW website and buy it. So there you go. So I got myself this. Now I've never seen a Funko Pop before, and the idea of this one is you get various coloured pre-painted ones. There's like 4 of them, but this one is basically just primed, so you can paint it yourself because it's Warhammer. Of course you want to paint it yourself. And there's 2 things I noticed. Well, there's one thing I noticed. The quality of these things is terrible. It's terrible. There's a massive sort of lumpy mould line down the middle here. Right down the middle, which is still visible under the primer. There's really rough edges and rough seams and things down here where the base of the head meets the side. There's a big, nasty, rough, ribbly-wobbly seam line down the hands. The quality is like, ooh, it's not great. It's not brilliant. I don't know if that's what all Funko Pops are like, a bit rough around the edges. You know, it's a very soft moulding. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll have to sand those down. And then I got flashbacks to doing the Big Master Chief. Those of you who are my patrons will remember I did the big 3-foot tall Jack's International Master Chief, which was basically made of vinyl, same as these. And you really can't sand that stuff. It just goes all fuzzy and horrible. So I don't know if anybody who's watching this in chat has ever done any custom work on a Funko Pop and had occasion to sand it. Do let me know. Because I don't want to start sanding little details on this and make a complete mess of it. If I have to leave it with the seam lines, I have to leave it with the seam lines. I can live with that. I'm just going to do it for fun. I picked this up because I would be, as a YouTuber, I would be kind of an idiot if I didn't do a video of either painting this or painting the Sister of Battle that they had exclusive for that day. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't pick that up because he'd sold out of them, so I got this instead. So I would be stupid if I didn't get a limited edition product and do a filming or a painting of it, so we'll have to get that painted up. I also don't know if you can take this apart. I want to see if I can get the head off, but I'm guessing you can't. There's also a strange yellow stain there, which is a bit disturbing. So, yeah, it's I don't know, it's a bit rough around the edges. I've never seen a Funko Pop before. I suppose they're fine as little collectibles. So we'll get this little puppy painted up. I don't think I'm going to risk trying to get rid of any seam lines. Simon Reynolds says, Step 1, Fox, pull it the hell apart. Step 2, head, backpack, arms, etc. I don't know if it comes apart. I tried pulling the head off, but I don't want to break it. So, yeah... I could just paint it as it is. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, we'll get that painted up at some point. I don't know which chapter to do it as yet. Do it as Angry Marines. Only thing, of course, I'd have to find a large decal of some unit or something that I've got. Depends what decals I've got. I might have some big Space Wolf symbols. I don't know. We'll find out. So I'll get that painted up. It does come apart, I assure you, says Cy Reynolds. I'm sure it does. It's just knowing how to do it without killing it and breaking it. So we'll figure that out anyway. So yeah, it's not the best quality in the world, but it's fine. It's fine as a fun little project. I'll see if I can get it. I won't put it back in the box because it's fiddly and it'll take me forever. There we go. But it'll be fine as a fun little project. And I have to say, I was compelled to get one to do a video because if you go and watch the How to Paint Your Funko Pop video on the Warhammer TV channel, Duncan really phones it in. He really does not agree. He's like, oh yeah, we painted it, done. What? It really, you can tell he had no interest in doing it because it really was a quick, really bad paint job. It was a bad Duncan paint job. It's not often you say that. It's not often you get to say that. It was like, wow, that was 5 minutes of my life, I didn't learn anything. Oh. Anyway, so that's what I picked up. Now, I did pick up as well 3 other things. I picked up 3 of the Warhammer Day pins, the exclusive pins. I don't know if they're exclusive to that day, but the packaging is. 3 of the Warhammer Day pins, which is the hammer and eagle symbol on a badge. I got 4. 1 has gone onto the painting hat, obviously my painting hat, which I can't see, it's over there. 1 has gone onto my podcasting hat. So I've got 3 left over. So instead of stickers today, I'm going to be giving away 3 pins. Now, I'm going to restrict this to 1 each. I don't want, you can't have one person winning 2 or 3 because that's not fair. I don't know if you're able to get these after. I'm sure they'll just do them again next year on Warhammer Day, but a lot of people did get one of these, so a lot of you said you wanted one, but you couldn't get one. So I shall give one of these each away to each to one person. So 3 of you can win one of these. We'll do that later on. I'll put them over there. So let's have a look. So yes, did you go to your local Warhammer store? Did you check out the things? Did you get your Sister of Battle, Amelia Earhart, or whatever she was called? They had an exclusive Sister of Battle figure, which was exclusive to the day. Apparently, it's not going to be available anywhere else. They had you can only buy it in the store Funko Pop that you can buy on the website. Okay, and they had a metal set of tokens for playing in the game, but I didn't get those because I haven't played the game yet, so no point getting those. I was tempted, but nah. Anyway, have a quick look at chat and then we'll crack on. So, what's chat saying to that? I'm on ice cold Pepsi Max from the fridge. LD's in. Welcome LD. Says, afternoon time to take a break from Bob Ross weekend stream. Excellent. I can talk really quiet. You can have more Bob Ross if you want. Jordan says he likes the new Warhammer logo. I quite like it. I do like it, yes. Eagles and hammers and eagles. Dad only paints in red, said George. Fluffy Gut says, I always have a reason for going to my local Games Workshop shop. Doesn't mean I come out with only what I went in for. Yeah, you never come out with one thing. David Butch, that model is in. Sorry I'm late. Had a cheeky little lad's day out with Tommy ending up in Taco Bell. Cool. Hey Tommy, if you're watching. Festa says, yellow primer under red works a treat. I think they do have a spray of Avalanche Sunset, I think. So I'll have to get a can of that. If not, I say it depends, because only a few parts of it are going to be yellow, so I could just get a can of Avalanche Sunset. So I can use the old first base coat and primer in one coat, which is the same reason I'm doing for the red. But we'll have a look and see. Interzone 88 says, Gene Stealer Cults. I don't know what I was talking about now. Gene Stealer Cults. Decant on stream, either an epic win or an epic fail. Quality entertainment either way. I don't do decanting. I like rattle cans. So, as a lazy modeler, and this is the whole thing of my thing, is I show you how to do things the easiest and less hassle way. As a lazy modeler, I really couldn't be bothered decanting rattle can paint when I can just use the rattle can. Also, I don't stab them. For those that don't know, Aviad explained to me that when he decants from a rattle can, instead of making some, like, normally with a rattle can, when you decant it, you get like a straw and some blue tack or poster tack or silly putty and some kind of contraption you get to decant the paint from the rattle can to your container of choice. Aviad doesn't do that. What Aviad does is he gets the thing and goes stab and makes a hole in it, which is just dangerous, dude. The one thing it says on every rattle can of pressured gas is do not pierce or throw into fire. I'm not going to be responsible if you explode yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. Scott Sutherland says, Games Workshop going to do a Dad Red special available in a 45-gallon barrel. That's a small one then, is it? For those that don't know, Dad, like I said, Dad is a Liverpool fan and everything he paints is red. Mephiston red is his favourite colour. Simon Reynolds says, fun fact, I don't even own Mephiston Red. Banned. Chat just jumped. I can't wait to see you do that. What you'll do with that pop, says Alberto. I shall even potentially use the airbrush. I don't know though. I might just do dry brushes. I don't know. Maybe airbrush. Mordraka says, I don't have Mephiston Red. I've got 4 pots of the precursor version of it, Wazdaka Red. Wazdaka Red is still a colour. It's still around. I've got it somewhere. Mephiston Red is just a slightly darker tone. Wazdaka Red is often used as a highlight colour for Mephiston Red. So it's still a valid colour though. It's not like an old one that doesn't exist anymore. You can still get Wazdaka Red. Simon Reynolds says, step 1, Fox, pull the hell apart, head, backpack, arms, and then it's only lightly glued. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. David butchered that model, so he couldn't get into the store yesterday due to fantastic timing by the Games Workshop having the day on the same day as Tank Fest and Armed Forces Day. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea if you live in that area. The vehicle decals are big enough for the pop. Should be. It says more Draka. Yeah, I've got a load of. I've got a load of Space Wolves decals. I think might fit. Do the whole show Bob Ross style. I've got a really itchy nose. I'm gonna have to sort of blow my nose. I've got a really itchy nose. Thought you'd frozen there. You need to keep your hands moving. I shall do this constantly. Let's have a look. Quantum Man, I've just got some blood for the Blood God. Now all I need is wow, hello words. I just got some blood for the Blood God. Now all I need is a kit I can get all kinds of stabity on. You're probably looking at get some Age of Sigmar stuff where they've got axes and big ass swords and things like that. That's where you could get quite interesting. Chris the Pirate says, I don't really do Warhammer models though. I did just buy a narrative Gundam. That's not Warhammer. It's not Warhammer. Gundam's not Warhammer. Both are cool though. So it doesn't matter if you don't do Warhammer, Chris. You're more than welcome to hang out on the stream because we're just hanging out and having fun. Tyrone says, Fox, they discontinued Avalan. Oh, they did, didn't they? They discontinued the Avalan Sunset. Oh, darn it. In that case, I won't rattle can the yellow primer. Oh well. I can use a brown. I think I've got a brown. What's the word I'm looking for? Ammo by Mig brown spray, the Steinhauer Res stuff. You mean the Sister Superior Amalia Navina miniature that's listed on the pre-order section of the Warhammer 40k page on the website? Oh, is this another day-only store exclusive they're doing on the website? Well done, Games Workshop. Yeah, I'm sure I remember somewhere saying that you can only get this thing on the day. It's a special release for the Warhammer Day in the store, and you only get it in the store. And same with the Funko Pop. It's very limited run. It's only going to be really for that one thing. And by the way, it's on the website. Oh well. Dad's not in, so we have done What's in Your Belly. And, oh yeah, okay. I missed that then. But yes, because Dad's tied up at the minute. What's in your belly and what's on your bench? So what you're working on right now, or what have you been working on? And what's in your belly? Either what have you had for your dinner, what you're going to have for your dinner, or what did you have for last night's dinner, depending on where you are in the world. What are your food plans for today? Right, so let's get some work done. So I'm going to have a swig of tea. Aww. In chat, what's on your bench? What's in your belly? So today we've got all the bits for the Death Guard Rhino. If you remember, like I said, I am slowly working my way through the Warhammer Conquest kits. I'm massively behind on Warhammer Conquest, as in filming the episodes. I've only filmed up to episode 16, and it's on hiatus at the minute because I've got to get the Caesarbi and the Millennium Falcon done. But what I am doing at the moment, because everything's piling up, all the kits are piling up on me, instead of having lots and lots of packages through the door and then I put them in a box, I'm slowly working my way through all the physical kits to get them built, because then I can either get the things built and put them in a skirmish case or a battle case or whatever. All the figures are in a little skirmish case at the minute, and it's taking up less space. Or, for things like the vehicles, I can just get them built up and stick it on a shelf. And then when it comes to painting them later on, I can get them primed and we can do filming the painting. Because I don't need to be showing in every episode how to build a Rhino or how to build a figure or something like that. So I can go ahead and get them built. So that's what we're going to be doing on these Warhammer Sundays, building all this stuff. So, I have here, ready and available, 2 of the sprues. I do have the other 2 sprues over there. Let's have a look. And it should be fairly straightforward. So I have all my tools ready. Tools. Let me show you my big tool. I don't know where that came from. So let's get all the bits and tools ready. We have that, and we have these. We've got Stabity. Now, I can't guarantee there will be Stabity this week. I know there was last week and the week before, but I can't guarantee there'll be any Stabity at all now. Hopefully not, but you never know. We'll see. So we're going to start off building your Death Guard Rhino. Put the destructions there out of the way. There we go. I'll need the glue, so I can't put that there. Fox, you're an idiot. Let me see. Can I clamp this somehow to something? Can I? No, obviously not. Can I clamp it to a... There we go. Building your Death Guard Rhino. Each component has its own number, which is shown on the sprue next to that component, or here, where I wrote it. Use these numbers to find the right bits to make the Rhino as shown below. I appreciate any instruction set that describes parts as bits. So British, so British. It's like, you know, to us modelers, spare things that you have lying around from other kits are called greebles. In Warhammer, it's known as a bits box. So, right, where are we? So, and then it's each component has its own number, which is shown on the sprue next to that component. And then the first step is 2 parts with no numbers. Oh, well, excellent, because... Oh dear, yes. So make sure to check you've got the right part number, except there's no part numbers for these bits. There's literally no numbers on this sprue at all. I mean, I know they're all unique parts, but it's kind of ironic, really. Shows you how old this is. So we need the 2 sidey parts. 1A, 1B. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. I don't need to really overthink it too much. So I'm going to go in with my... Massively Destructive Games Workshop nippers first, just to get these off the sprue. Now these they're not bad quality, but they are destructive. They're not delicate, and you know they show you when you watch any of the Warhammer TV stuff. Of course, they're not taking great care to get rid of nubs. They are getting rid of them, but the Warhammer way, the Warhammer TV way, is to get close up with these nippers, and then. Wait, which is bit of this now? I've already got confused already. 1A. Hang on. There's that one and there's that one. Okay, so on this sprue we have this piece and this piece. On this sprue we have this piece and this piece. Now, are we going to take bets as to this bit is supposed to go with that bit? I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Because logic would tell you that these 2 pieces will be on the same sprue. However, this is Games Workshop. Who wants to put odds on that this one isn't designed to fit with the one from the same sprue? Because when I did the what was it I did? The Hydra. There were like 2 halves of something on one sprue and 2 halves on the sprue, and they weren't the same. It was like, oh, you. Why must you do this? Let's find out. So. We have that's the bit anyway, that piece there. So I'm looking at it from the other side now, aren't I? Because I'm looking at step 2 actually rather than step 1. So that would be there, that would be there, and they would go together thusly. Okay, I'll let them off. I'll let them off. I think it fits together. I think. This is what happens when you don't give me part numbers, dudes. That looks like it fits together anyway. So I just need to very quickly clean these up. Now, the lucky thing with these is a lot of these nubs, I think, are going to get covered up. Like these ones on the wheels, don't care. There'll be tracks down there, so we don't have to worry too much about those. If I can save myself denubbing where I don't need to. The tops of the tracks get covered up, so it's only this exterior part I have to worry about. I can hear the ice cream van, which is awesome. Okay, so I don't need to worry about the interior nubs here other than to get rid of them. I can just quickly get rid of those roughly, and these ones I need to get nice and smooth. Okay, so that's cool. So that, I like to look and see. I'm not like, it's not that I'm lazy. But there are things where if I don't need to get rid of a nub, if I don't need to clean a nub off, other than just remove it, if it's never going to be seen, I can use that time more constructively doing something else. I need my visor of seeing. What we can do is go in with the decent nippers. So this is the interior piece that you're not going to see anyway, because it'll be covered up by exterior. So I can go in with my decent god hands, and very quickly. Just remove as carefully as I can because I don't want to kill my god hands. Remove those. There we go. Always being careful to cut from the end of the blades, as in the interior end, not the pointy end, because that's how you damage your god hands. Get that bit of plastic out from there. We've got 2 little nubs on the wheels. So we'll just get those off. Nubbity. So you're not going to see these. I'll file them down so they're smooth a little bit, just so they're smooth and they won't get in the way of anything. But I'm not going to file them down so that they look nice, because you're not going to see them. I'll get these off here like that. There's a nice windy sound coming from outside because there's a breeze blowing. And it's dead nice because when the breeze, there's so many trees outside, when you get a real breeze on, it sounds like you're playing Fallout. Because there's always a lot of sort of breezy sounds on Fallout 3 and 4. It sounds like that. It's great. So how is everyone? I hope you're all well. If you're in mainland Europe, I hope you're surviving the heat wave. We've not had it too bad. I'm up in the northwest. I'm up in Cheshire, so we've not had it too bad here. We had a nice warm day yesterday. It hit 29 at one point during the day. And it was quite warm, but that's as worse as we've had here. I don't know about the rest of the country because I don't live in the rest of the country, but we've not had it too bad. We were supposed to get thunderstorms yesterday, we didn't. But today is cooler, so I suspect we're going to get rain and stuff today. Quite possibly. Right, I'm getting out the Stabity tool. Let's see how long it takes. Hopefully it doesn't happen at all. Stabity time, Stabity time, Stabity time. Stabity time. Bomb. Get rid of any excess nonsense going on. Now, when I do this, it's obviously a Death Guard Rhino. So it's going to be filthy and dirty and covered in disease. Another thing about these, when you see me doing these nubs, it's a Death Guard Rhino. And if you read the lore about the Death Guard and their vehicles and machines, whereas in the Imperium, they revere their technology and their machines. They believe there's a machine spirit that inhabits any technology, and you have to, have incantations and things coming apart. It's weird. Get back together. I've got the wonky one. You have to do incantations and burn oils and offer prayers to it and stuff to make sure it works properly. Death Guard don't care. It's just a machine to them. Now it does have a demon. As it's a Death Guard Rhino, there will be a demon soul that inhabits it and sort of possessed it. And that makes it work. But the Death Guard don't care about maintaining them. So Death Guard vehicles, they're always going to be, apart from the fact they're covered in like disease and horribleness anyway, they're going to be badly maintained. They're going to be rusty and battered and chipped. They're going to be poorly maintained. The paint job's going to be knackered. There's going to be rust and stuff everywhere. They could be ancient. They could be hundreds of years old and not maintained. So I'm not too fussed if I've got the odd bit of shonky sanding here and there. Because rest assured, when I finish the Death Guard army part of Conquest, it's going to look filthy. Now, I am doing a lot of painting following the magazine. And for those particular things, what I'm doing basically is, if you've not seen me do the Warhammer Conquest stuff, for some of it I'm just doing exactly what the magazine says. For those people that are just going to follow the magazine, I'll be following that. And I've got to be honest with you, it looks kind of ass. The magazine paint job is not very inventive at all. It's not very interesting. It's a bit rubbish. But some people are going to paint it like that. So for some of them, for the rank and file bits, I'm going to film how it says to do in the magazine. And for some of them, like this, I'm going to do a proper paint job right out the bat. I'm not going to paint it like the magazine at all. I'm going to do a proper how to paint this thing properly. But then once I've finished, both armies, the Death Guard and the Ultramarines, anything that's been painted like the magazine, I will then go back later on and I will repaint it all to a proper paint job. But this one will get a proper paint job right off the bat, so it will be weathered and nasty. But that's what I'm talking about, is that it's not going to have... I'm not worrying about getting all the nice smooth areas sanded properly, things like that, because you don't need to. It's going to be rusty, it's going to have corrosion. If I've got a bit where I've maybe got a bit of a nub, I'll just... I'll gouge it out later on. Or if I've got a bit where I've sanded a bit roughly, well, that's where I'll put some corrosion and give a kind of corroded rough effect. How's that looking? I want to get them reasonably flat. I don't want it to look really bad, but you know, I don't want it to be obvious nubs visible. But I don't mind if there's a bit of roughness. That's that one there. So we'll just get that going. Get it. So it's not too bad. I'm gonna take care with it, but not lose sleep over getting it perfect. Like when I come and do the repulsor, the Ultramarines repulsor, of course, that's all new technology. It's Primaris, so that's not going to be too battered and beaten. There's something on my desk wobbling and it's doing my head in. Stop wobbling. I can hear it going tick, 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 tick. Every time I sound. Anyway, that's one part done. So like down here, the wheels, I'm not worried about getting all the nubs hidden on there, because when I do end up finishing this and doing it painting, it's going to have dirt and mud and dust and stuff. It's going to be mucky down there. So I don't really care about the bottoms of the wheels too much. Chris says, Stabity time, someone do a super chat. Yeah, that distracts me. Oh, hello. That distracts me. So for these bits here, I'm going to trim them down with the blade of Stabity. But I'm not going to go in and be super careful and sand them back, because that's going to be covered up by the armour anyway. The wheels, I'll take the big massive chunk of nub off. There's one there as well. That one. Chunk of nub. I'm on camera? I'm on camera, hopefully. I'll take that bit off. And I will give it a quick sand. But like I said, these are going to be covered with mud and dirt. And I will heavily dirt them up. So we'll have like some mud effects. Whether we use Citadel stuff like Sterling, what's it called? Sterling Moss. Sterling Mud. I think they're Sterling Moss, aren't they? Sterling Mud, not Sterling Moss. To go in there to give a mud effect. Or maybe some of the ammo products. We'll see. It's a good couple of years away, that anyway. So I've got them a little bit smooth. I can give them a quick sand. Quick sanding across the universe. I don't have to worry too much. The only the nubs are there, which you're not going to see. Diddly bomb. Make sure it's the right way around, which is that way and that way. Super match game. There we go. It's getting warm in here now. So that's that. Now I will need to drill out these little exhausts here. And I think... Ooh, I'll tell you what I do have to do. There's a good big seam line right down the middle of those exhausts. Good big seam line, a mould line. So we'll very quickly get rid of that. Now, the thing to remember with the Rhino kit is it is one of the older kits. Whether it's the regular Space Marine Rhino or the Chaos Rhino, the Death Guard Rhino, it is one of the older kits. It's quite an old kit. Has it got a date on it? 2006. This one, which if I remember rightly, the basic Rhino, the Imperial good guys isn't the right word, but the basic Rhino is earlier than that. This is a later edition, so do expect honking seam lines and mould lines. You're going to have some cleanup to do. It's like the Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard troops. They're old kits. So if you make a modern release of figures like Primaris Marines, they're quite forgiving on the seam lines. They're not too bad. Go back and make some old Imperial Guard. Good God, you're going to be scrubbing seam lines out of mould lines for days. I spent a whole day once just getting all the mould lines off my Imperial Guard heads. Something is rattling. What is rattling on my desk now? There's something rattling. And you know when something rattles and bugs you? Right, stop now. There we go. It was my thing of tape. I think it was. It was doing my head in. I'm like, oh, stop rattling. Like when you get, I don't know, you get a squeaky spring on your bed or something, and whenever you breathe, it drives me nuts. Or you get a chair that makes a little noise, and you're like, oh. Right, so we've got a seam line on there, mould line. I'll give it a quick sandy in a second. So yes, it is one of the older kits, so do expect some honking great mould lines. And the details to be not quite as crisp as more modern recent kits. Like if you were to compare this, say, to the Primaris Repulsor that we get right at the end, the last 2 episodes, yeah, that's going to be a lot more crisp and detailed, and because it's a more modern thing. They have come a long way. You've got to be honest and give them credit. They have come a long way in the last, say, 10, 15 years. They've done a good job of GW. They've done themselves proud, I think you'll find. And I've said this before, but if, just purely based on the plastic alone, I would put GW up there along with Bandai for quality, for the modern stuff. The quality of their sculpts and their printings, and the fun you can have building them. I'd put them up there with, you know, Bandai. They've just obviously not got the super complex engineering that Bandai do, like your multicoloured sprues or, you know, moulded on joints and things like that. But in terms of just quality, because of all the kits I built in all my entire life, you know, no kit is perfect. But the 2 most fun things I've had fun building, that's weird. The 2 things I've had most fun building are Gunpla, which are always fun to build, because, you know, it's not hard, or Warhammer stuff. Aside from a very occasional slight fit issue on a really old kit, or some ropey instructions, they've always been really awesome. Tyrone Key says, Fox, the Chaos Rhino is the exact same as the Imperial one, it just comes with extra sprue with Chaos specific parts. Yeah, I know, I just didn't know if that was, if it came out in 2006 the same as the Imperial one, or whether the Imperial one came out, like, you know, years before and then they just did the same thing, like re-released the same sprue. So this Chaos one might say 2006, but if you buy the Imperial one, does it say like 2003 or something? I don't know. I know it's the same thing though. Excuse me. Right, it's drilling time, I think. Let's do some drilling. I don't think we're going to have much built. Let's be blatantly honest here. We're not going to have a lot built today. Put the instructions there. So these are quite large, so I think we're going to need quite a large drill bittings. Will that be a big enough one for the big one there? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? That wood. That'll be fine. That will be fine. Do 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 do. I do like it when the the thing I'm drilling is exactly the right size for the Citadel pin vise, because I much prefer the Citadel pin vise over my own pin vise. So when I can use the Citadel ones, and they're always about the right size, it's like yay. So let's get these quickly drilled out. See how well we can do this without making a complete mess of it. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do it like this, I think. Get it in the middle, roughly. Start to drill. Gentlemen, start your engines. Oh, it's pretty much in the middle. I love that. I love it when a plan comes together. Now, I don't need to drill them in a long way. I just need to make a deep enough hole that if I fill it with, if I shade it with null oil later on, it'll just make a nice black hole. But it'll be a recessed hole that doesn't need to go all the way down. As long as it's obvious that it's a recessed hole. Squeaky things. Let's have a look. There you go. Because that'll be fine. Because it's not like, it doesn't go all the way down through the exhaust. And it doesn't need to. It's not exactly centered, but that's fine. It doesn't need to go all the way in. It needs to go down a bit. Because like I said, it'll be dark in there anyway once I've got some null oil in there. Handy tip if you're drilling out a hole. Plenty of other amazing kits, but never seen anything like what Bandai do. Bandai is by far just the absolute leading kit manufacturer. If they did proper serious, I know they do the UCS hard graph kits, which are glue kits, but if they did more proper gluey kits, they'd dominate everybody else. So I'm just going to expand this out a little bit and centralize it, because it wasn't quite in the middle. Okay, get the other one done. Yeah, if when it comes to push fit kits, I mean, when it comes to push fit kits, nobody's anywhere near Bandai's level at all, ever, and nobody ever will be. Revell, compared to Bandai for push fit kits, it's like making something out of, you know, nursery school building blocks. It's just drivel. Revell's efforts in push fit is just absolute drivel compared to Bandai. And that's nowhere in the centre at all. Yeah, that's a bit of a bugger. That went a bit wrong, that one. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay, that's gone. How can we get around that now? Well, I've kind of messed that one up because I'm nowhere near the middle. Let's just try getting it in the middle and just see what happens. Worst case scenario is I cut these off and I replace them with a custom made thing I've made myself, or some exhaust from other kits. It does happen sometimes. You drill something out and it goes a bit doolally and off whack. It's not the end of the world. Apart from when that comes off. Do you know? It's all gone wrong on telly, folks. All gone wrong on telly. Let's get that back on. But then again, it is a Chaos Rhino, so it doesn't matter if it looks a bit grimpy. It's absolutely fine. See if we can expand that out a bit. Do 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 do. Now, I think what we can do here, I think what I should do here is, I don't know if I can recover that. Well, I'll think about that later. I'll leave it as it is for now. I've kind of messed up that exhaust. It's kind of made a mess of it. But that's fine. I can figure something out later on. And what I'll probably do is either snip that bit off the end of both of them and then build them up with something else. Or just cut the exhaust off altogether. And maybe I've got lots of spare parts lying around from other tank kits. Just use an exhaust off something else and stick it on the back. So I'll probably do that. But I'm not going to dwell on it for now because I don't want to sit here all day planning, because that will be very exciting for you to watch. So let's have a look. I'll leave that drill bit in there because I'll need it for the other side. Oh, look at that now. It's getting really warm in here actually. Ooh. Quote of the day: I can chop this bit off when he's referring to the Rhino or his finger. I was not looking at the screen, says David Butcher, that model. Yes. Let me put that back on there, keep it safe. Yes, it's not the end of the world. Like I say, when things like that do go wrong, it just means it gives you a chance then to just come up with some other idea. Remember, it is a Chaos one, so it can look crappy and broken. That's absolutely fine. Make sure that's the right way around. Yes, there, and that one there. Yes, yes. So we're going to go in with the Tamiya Thick first of all. Tyrone says, break it and make it look like it's leaking pus, because it's Death Guard. Yeah. I can apply battle damage. That's the other thing, of course. Oh, dribble glue there. That's far too much glue. Never mind. Battle damage is always an available option. So again, it's not the end of the world because it is Death Guard. Oops. Wow. All thumbs and fingers, or even fingers and thumbs today. So we'll get some extra glue in there. Why don't I put the glue over here? I'm not having to reach over the whole desk. So I've gone in with the thick glue just to get everything settled in place. It gives it stick, and then I can go in with the extra thin just to weld the plastic together permanently and give it a stronger bond. If you're used to be using like the cement that you get from Games Workshop, that's kind of like a bit like Tamiya, the normal Tamiya cement. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just, it does get a bit messy. That's why I like to use extra thin, because it can capillary into all the little gaps. But I will use the fat cement, the full thick cement, from time to time. Just when I've got something big and chunky to glue together, or like big, you know, key and holes like that kind of thing. So there we go, that's that glue. We'll sort that out later. Like I said, that was a good idea from Tyrone of the battle damage. That's good thinking. Reese from RJC Models is in. Welcome, Reese. Hello, hello. Now we can make the other one. Time to do the other one. Let's do this one. Let's try that again. Put that glue over to one side. Let's have a quick look at the chat first. Because I asked you what you have on your bench and belly. Model making guru says, Aviad, we have an age restriction in the boom hut, right? And maybe I'll film my decanting technique, but not going to risk it if there's toddlers watching. I would say if your technique involves piercing a pressurized can, don't put it in the boom hut at all. Because there's all kinds of liabilities then. Something like that I wouldn't. There's no age limit in the boom hut, but I don't really want to put video of you piercing a pressurized can, because all it takes is one person to do that and it explodes. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Chris the Pyro says, yeah, I realise what I said made no sense. As soon as I said it, I was hoping no one would notice when he said about I don't really do Warhammers, but I did just do a narrative Gundam. Let's have a look. Okay, Butcher That Model says, just had Taco Bell and finishing basing Arkan the Black myself. Cynical Mank says, chicken burgers for tea later and a couple of smaller junk spaceships on the bench. Cynical Mank likes to make things out of, basically his entire kit is made of greebles and junk. Colin at Festa 67 says, nothing in belly, see the Cat Part 5 on the bench. Good girl, get something in your belly though. Osric's having cheese and salami butties and a plague burst crawler. Simon Reynolds just had some salted caramel Haagen-Dazs. Oh, and the Cesar take all my time. It will not be finished by the end of date. Beast is what is on his bench. Snowman HFC had a chicken and mushroom pot noodle, which is the correct kind of pot noodle. It's the correct flavour. And nothing on the bench playing Fallout 4. Yeah, get yourself the True Storms mod. You probably already got it. Also get the frame rate fix. You know, there's one mod I wish they'd make that is not on a console, but is on PC. And I really wish it was on console. Is a mod to get rid of the announcements in the subway stations. Oh, God, they're so annoying. You know, the ding dong. You know, keep it clean, Boston. They're so loud. It makes any kind of stealthy play just horrible because you constantly in your ear. I wish there was a way to take them off, but there's no console mod for that. It's really frustrating. Mordraka says, bench all clear, belly, coffee with half a packet of assorted cream biscuits and dry ginger ale. Jolly good. Cyril says, taking bets on Stabity, 1-to-1 Stabity, 10-to-1 no Stabity. Quantumman's got the real grade Cesabi on the bench and 2 cans of beans are in the belly, ready for me to toot the night away. Jolly good. Earl D says, question, my pal got back to me. He's got super glue on a detailed part and cannot sand it off. Is there a chemical remover? You can break super glue down with hot soapy water, sort of. You can get super glue debonders, which you spray on, and it breaks the super glue down. However, both of those, I don't necessarily know whether that will get rid of the super glue on the surface. Also, you can freeze super glue and then smash it and break it because it becomes very brittle. But again, I don't know if it will restore the part back to the way it looked. Those are more tips for separating super glue parts. But yeah, definitely try, if not hot soapy water, definitely try debonder. That might work. But I don't know if you can, if you restore it to, like, you know, if you've got super glue, say, on that little bit ribbed floor there, you'd just be screwed, basically. Simon Reynolds is asking Aviad why he likes to decant rattle cans, and why he doesn't like rattle cans. Just Django is in. How much did I miss? You've missed me messing up the thing on there. That's about it, though. I've glued 2 things together. The nubs on the top were visible. The roof doesn't quite cover them. On the inside, it covers the whole track, I think, doesn't it? I've done the nubs on that side, on the outside bit. I've not done the nubs on this side because that bit's covered up. Does it not? Let me consult the leg end. Yeah, it covers them up. The inside one, it's gone. It's well inside there. It's this outside one. Look at that. There's a nub. There's a nub. Oh, so half-arsed when they did this magazine. There's a great big nub there. I don't know. Yes, I think this bit's going to be hidden away. So I've just got it flat. I've not got it sanded, but this bit I've sanded down to make it look good. Let's have a look. Alberto Grajales says, how are the God Hand Nippers? They are fantastic. I love my God Hand Nippers. I wouldn't cut a Warhammer kit off the sprue with them, though, because it would destroy them, because the nubs are massive. They're good for clean-up, though, on Warhammer stuff. Tyrone Key says, no food, but Necromunda Escher's on the bench. Cardiff was baking yesterday, today much the same, says Vasily. Welcome, Vasily. Congratulations, by the way. Vasily is a new dad. LD, great in Shropshire, not too hot with a little breeze. Jordan Capuano says, I'm in Manchester, wasn't terrible, but today's a little stuffy. Then you're in the same place as me and Quano Man. We're all Manchester area. I'm just outside. I'm still Greater Manchester, technically. Let's have a look. What else has been going in chat? I don't want to spend all day just reading chat. Just found out the Bandai box scale Millennium Falcon is actually 1/350 scale. Suddenly I now need one to fly alongside my refitted USS Enterprise. Cool! That's the beauty about Bandai box scale. They're still technically a scale, whereas Revell box scale is random made-up nonsense. Games Workshop on Bandai level of details and general casting might be on par, but the engineering on Bandai's side is just 3 levels above anything else in the market. So, oh, absolutely. I mean, if Games Workshop, if you look at some of the easy build stuff, which is technically push fit, it's a million years behind Bandai stuff. Absolutely. In terms of the quality of the pieces, the quality of the moulding, I'd say they're both about equal. In terms of the quality of engineering, Bandai are massively well ahead of everybody else. No one comes close. An amazing partnership, a proper partnership, would be Bandai and Games Workshop somehow. I know we've got the special collectible figure and things like that, but that's just the start. That's their little inroad into the Japanese market. But yeah. Games Workshop are keen to get into the Japanese market. They really would be very sensible of them to do more with Bandai. To seriously do more. If anybody from, it's not actually likely, but if anybody from Games Workshop is watching, seriously, if you want to make inroads into Japan, you have to do more with Bandai. Seriously. The 2 things the Japanese love: model kits, especially snap fit stuff, and RPGs. So, tabletop gaming, it's a natural fit. A business model where you've got tabletop gaming and models and painting and building, totally a natural fit. If you want to make your inroads into Japan, which I know you do from people I've talked to, I took a big gouge out there, but it's the inside bit. You need to do more with Bandai. You need to get in bed with Bandai and do all kinds of jiggly things. That's what you need to do. Let's have a look. LD says Gunpla stash is low. May have to do some Warhammer. Got loads in the stash. Got to get to August for birthday to pop on max. Yeah, do all your Warhammers, dude. Part of me wishes that Games Workshop would adopt similar casting tech to Bandai. I much prefer Bandai sprues. In an ideal world, I'd have Bandai sprues for everything. The difficulty is that Bandai is never ever going to share their technology with anyone. There's a reason that Bandai are the only manufacturer that do things like, I was going to say multicolour sprues, but they're not. But I think they're the only one that do things like fully articulated joints on a sprue. And the reason that their casting is so much better than everybody else's, because it's all proprietary, the tech they use. And they're never gonna share that with anybody because it takes away their advantage. So this is the exterior one. So again, we're going to see the nubs on this one when the rest of the body's all together. So we need to make sure these are nice and smooth and taken care of. Again, I'm not being too careful because it is chaos. It is going to look like ass when it's finished, but intentional ass, not just badly painted ass, obviously. Obvs, before you say anything. So we'll get this bit denubitated. And we'll try drilling out the things again and see what happens. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? Where's that one I messed up? You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to gouge. I'm going to clip some bits off. I'm going to gouge. I'm going to do some battle damage. There's that bit. Let's do some gouging on it. I'll decide now to gouge things out. And then I'll drill a hole in it as well, obviously. Let's do it now. Because it's chaos, it can have damage. I'll sand that down to a random shape. I'll put a little bit of a cut there. Smooth it down a bit. It's all about having fun. Don't take things too seriously. And then what we'll try and do is we'll try and get something in the middle. We'll just see if we can get the hole down the middle as it's supposed to be. Because when I do the paint job, of course, I can paint in the damage and make it look like that the exhaust has been smashed and shattered. That's why I'm still drilling the hole down the middle. See, I don't look half as stupid as I am, you know. I'll have you know. Sonny Jim, my lad. There we go. So when I come to paint it, of course, I can do lots of, say, damage or heat staining or some sort of staining and damage here. I could put lots of dings and nicks into this part of the armour. I can really go to town sculpting dings and chunks. I can get the Dremel out and I can start taking this down and it'll look like something's hit that. So when I come to paint it, I'll get the Dremel out and I'll start taking chunks out here. I'll just get around the edge. This is just for more to remind me, so when I do get round to it, I can be like, why have I carved all that out? Oh, because it's supposed to be damaged. So I'll just do that. So we'll leave it as that for now. But yeah, so there you go. One other handy tip, if you're drilling holes out, whether you're drilling bolters, barrels or anything really, when you've done some drilling, one thing you will have is rough edges. Get yourself some Tamiya extra thin and just run it around the inside and over the top. What that will do, and same if you've got any sort of sanding marks that are just a little bit too rough on polystyrene, it will slightly soften the plastic and melt it a little bit and smooth everything off. But it's especially handy when you've drilled out a gun barrel or anything like that, just because you'll get the roughness inside, or you might get a bit of a fluffy edge. Just get your extra thin and just run it around the inside and it'll make it look nice and smooth. So there you go, that's what we'll do with that one. We'll give that like an impact. So I'll get the Dremel when we get round to it and we'll do some dings and impacts and things on there. There'll be lots of little Dremel marks and things on this. Now I'm gonna jump ahead in the chat because I'll be here reading it all day. Swig of tea. Cup of tea, mate. Cup of tea. Cup of tea. Totally agree, Fox. They won't share tech. Can't blame us. Just wishing, says Sirens. Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, the thing is, I suppose with Games Workshop stuff, there's no real need for, like, you know, multi-posable models. But although it would be mint if you could make, say, if they released a plastic Titan of some sort and made it all posable. Good God! But it would be, I think what would be advantageous to Games Workshop is, and this is just my 2 cents. There could be a lot of business reasons why it wouldn't work. But the way it seems to me is you've got two things. You've got the tabletop stuff, which is anything you want to play on the tabletop. You know, nothing comes close. They've got that market cornered, and Games Workshop are never going to do anything that competes with themselves, because that would be kind of dumb. And that makes sense. But imagine, if you will, Games Workshop have all their models that they produce themselves in Nottingham, because all their stuff is made in, well, most of their stuff is made in house. Let's just say most of it. Most of it's made in house, and it's all the static tabletop stuff that you can either build to play on the tabletop or build because it's a nice looking model. But then, what they don't do is do anything in the display, purely for display type arena. What I mean by that is, everything they do is in heroic scale because it's all used on the tabletop. But imagine if there was also a range of kits that had no function on the tabletop whatsoever. They were all just purely designed to be static display models to go in your cabinet. Like, in a way, like a Gunpla. But Gunpla are obviously static. In a way, maybe a bit like the UCS Hardgraph stuff. They're just designed to be not heroic scale, so like the big static figure of the Ultramarine, of the Space Marine that Bandai are releasing, and the little chibi figures that Bandai are doing for them. You know, that's in no way competing with anything that Games Workshop do because they're not tabletop. There's a lot of scope for Games Workshop to get product into markets that they don't actually cater for themselves, like the pure non-tabletop range of kits. And that's where Bandai could be a real boon for them, because Bandai's got distribution around most of the world now. So imagine, if you will, for one moment, that you can buy Games Workshop stuff from Games Workshop for your tabletop needs, but if you want to buy a 1/35th scale Rhino, or, you know, let's say, or a 1/100th scale Imperial Knight, it's fully posable, and again, no use on the tabletop because it's totally not in scale and would look ridiculous. Why not do that? Why not have that option? Because then they can cater to an extra market. They're not going to be, people aren't going to be trying to play them on the tabletop, but I think you'd certainly get, if a lot of people who build this stuff just for the fun of building it would suddenly be interested very much. I think it would be a very good idea. And that's where Bandai could come in. They wouldn't have to invest a lot of money buying new equipment. Why not have a partnership with Bandai and take advantage of all their awesome technology and get them to do all that? How cool would that be? I'd be like a pig in muck, I would. And you can see they are starting to. That's kind of, I think that's kind of the way they're starting to think, is they want to make inroads into Japan, and that's why you've had like the Space Marine Heroes, the blind box stuff that came out in Japan first, because that kind of gashapon stuff, blind box stuff, that's what goes down in Japan. You've got the little chibi figures that came out. Yes, you've got the nice 7-inch tall Space Marine that's good anywhere for the collectible fans, but you've also got the little tiny gashapon figures, which are absolutely the kind of thing that will go down well in Japan. And I think that's why they're doing it, because they want to start getting a footprint in Japan. There are Warhammer stores in Japan. And I think with the Japanese love of crafts and model making and painting, because it's a big thing in Japan, is the craft of making miniatures. And their love of RPGs and complex game systems. I mean, come on, this is the country that made Monster Hunter. Yeah, they'd have a great time with a tabletop game like this. I think it makes sense, and I think GW are doing the right things at the moment to get into that market. I think they need to do more, and I really think a partnership with Bandai would be the best possible thing they could do. A more intense, proper meaningful partnership in some way, where Bandai are making stuff licensed. Maybe they license the brand to Bandai to make stuff that's not going to compete with the tabletop. That would be a genius move. Let's have a look. Got a Rhino on Fleabay for just £11. Just a raw no bit unit, no bit, says Dad. Forge World bits added to it though. Now kit bashing it. Good girl. Is the Baneblade done now, Dad? Asks Simon Reynolds. I don't know what we're talking about, but Wayne Haywood says, Simon Reynolds, are you in the UK? Saurine in most supermarkets. Saurine is delightful, and Simon Reynolds is in the UK. But Saurine is the best thing ever. Dad says, still doing the Baneblade, ran out of Agrak Searches, so went into Warhammer yesterday to get some, found a huge bottle of Mephiston Red 02 and a couple more kits. And yeah, Dad got himself the Dad got himself a Matalan PlayStation 1 Ridge Racer as well. Let's have a look. Paul Di Tommaso. Hey Paul. Says, has anyone pre-ordered the $1,000 new Gundam Bandai has coming out? No. Do you know what I could get for $1,000? That massive X-Wing. Fox, in your opinion, says Reese, Space Wolves, yay or nay? I would say absolutely yay. When I eventually finished doing my Xeon army, my Xeon Imperial Army, many years from now, I intend to do a Space Wolves force. I actually got the Shapeways 3D printed extras to do a Space Wolves Imperial Knight. I got some of them. I might use that for Char's Zaku Knight there. But yeah, when I've got my Xeon stuff done, or maybe even before, at some point, Space Wolves, absolutely. I mean, yes, they go on a bit about the wolves too much. It's a bit too in your face. But that's just the fluff. The fluff is written by a 12-year-old. I mean, let's just be honest here. The fluff is written by a 12-year-old. Wolf this and wolf that. That's pathetic. But yeah, Space Wolves. Absolutely. I mean, I would say Angry Marines, but there's no official codex for Angry Marines. Imagine if there was actually a codex for Angry Marines, if they became an official chapter. Oh, man. There we go. Much better. Much better. When I pay attention to what I'm doing, I don't mess it up. Apologies, this is kind of facing up on the camera and you're not seeing much, but it's just so I can get it in the middle and not make an arse of it again. Yeah, but Space Wolves, absolutely. I love the colour. I love the light blue colour scheme. When I did the Storm Wolf and the two Space Marines with it, I put on the ground. When I did those guys, the light blue colour scheme really appealed to me. Although I had to give them gold. I've got to be honest, I still had to give them gold trim. So when I do Space Wolves, it'll be a slight adjustment to the colour scheme. But the thing that gets me is, though, it's you can buy, I know you can get the sort of Space Wolves kits, but it is a shame that, you know, if you want to make various chapters, you can't really just go out and start collecting Space Marines and then, you know, build them up into whatever chapter. You have to then buy extra add-on stuff to adapt them into a different chapter. You know, if you want to do Space Wolves, I suppose you could do. I think you can just paint them the right colours and say they're Space Wolves. But ideally, they have different chest designs. They don't all have the Aquila on the chest. And they have all the heraldry and stuff. There is like you can get the kit of parts to adapt. But it is a shame. However, of course, there are lots of third-party companies that make bits and bobs to add to stuff, so I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, but there are. But yeah, absolutely Space Wolves, great fun. I say, written by a 13-year-old. Let's not mince words, Bones. Written by an absolute talentless hack, but I like them. Also, Vikings, hello. There's not a lot to like. Right, so let's just quickly try these together. It's that one there and that one there, like that to say, goes together like a dream. Oops, a little bit of sandy there. That's looking nice and smooth. It's round and earthy. Yeah, if you look at the parts on this kit compared to, say, a more modern kit I've built, like the Stormwolf, this is a bit more, it's a bit softer in the details here and there. Not badly so, but it is a little bit more soft and squishy compared to more recent builds. I think there is, though, Reese, I think there is a start collecting Space Wolves. If you're going to get into Space Wolves, absolutely get yourself a start collecting kit to start with. Just because it's a cheap way to get that many dudes, all with the relevant heraldry and armour pieces and stuff. And then take it from there if you want to do more. I think there is like you buy a little, you get it from the Warhammer store, there's like a little add-on pack Space Wolves conversion kit. And it's just like a couple of heads and some little bits of armor flare and stuff like that you can put on your dudes. I don't know if there's a Space Wolves Primaris yet. I don't know if anything like that. I don't know if such a thing exists. I've got to be honest with you though. I know there's a lot of like negativity about the Primaris Marines when they first came out, but I've got to be honest with you. I really like the look of the Primaris Marines and the more realistic scale and proportions, to the point where I don't really like the original Space Marines now. It's like they're a bit too goofy compared to the Primaris, which just look badass. I think if I do like Space Marines from now on for myself, I'm just going to use Primaris because they look more badass. Even just the masks look a bit more badass. So there we go. That's that one done. I didn't screw up the exhausts, but that'll be quite a good one. We've got some battle damage going on. We'll sort it out. That's those two parts. What is chat doing? Also, don't forget, of course, some of the Space Wolves, you get the dude on the back of a massive wolf. So, yeah, and the wolfen, they're kind of I go for Space Wolves. Do Space Wolves. There you go. Everybody just go and do Space Wolves now. Because wolves are awesome wolves. Hey, my surname is Wolf. Of course I'm going to like Space Wolves. Can't beat Space Vikings riding wolves into battle. What war do you want, says Reese. Yes, exactly. You've answered the question there. Earl D says, Banzai Hobby is trying to make me buy stuff. I just would. Reese says, I'm doing an army of Space Wolves. They are lovely to paint. Yeah, the colours are fantastic. Dave says, Space Puppies, Ultramarines is the only true Marine. Dave, Ultramarines. Oh dear. Really? Ultramarines is like songs of praise. They're just kind of always there. And also, Matt Ward, really? Oh dear. When I was saying about the Space Wolves being written by a 13-year-old, yeah, their fluff is almost as stupid and nonsensical as Matt Ward's Ultramarines stuff. But there you go. Never mind. Moving on. Ultramarines are all right. They're just kind of like boring. It's like they're kind of like the Ford Mondeo of the Space Marine world. It's like, yeah, okay. They're on all the box art, and when first time builders get into building them, they build Ultramarines, and that's kind of the default decals. No, you want something much more interesting. If I was building something else, I might have a look at, say, Grey Knights, just because it's the Inquisition and they're kind of kick-ass, or Death Guard maybe even. I mean, I know they're kind of cliche as well in a lot of ways, but right, I need some tracks now, don't I? So it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, well, what we're going to do before I start doing these tracks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, before we start doing the tracks, because that'll take me a little bit to get them all on the right order, should we do some giveaways? Should we do some sticker giveaways, except they're not stickers? Yay! Quick look at chat. Problem with start collecting is it's old school Marines. If you're after Primaris, you're shit out of luck, says Simon Reynolds. Yeah, that's the only downside. It is the old style. That's why I kind of mentioned the old style. I think you can still use the conversion kits for Primaris. I don't know, though. It's like some of them have like jewels and things on the chest rather than actual Aquila. Reese says, yeah, I got some of them and then the addiction started. Got me some Primaris, some Wolven, some Bohon the Fellhand, and a few other Space Wolves. I think you already know then. If you've already got like a massive army, so I think you know that they're good. Space Wolves bore me, says Osric. Yeah, but not as much as Ultramarines. Ooh, little dig. Fluffy Guts is making her own chapter. Cool. Are the old Space Marines the ones with the pointy helmets in the face area? Asked David Sanderson. Yeah, they're called the Beakies, or the kind of beaky design. There's different ones. Let's get a pen. Let's get my brand new Scaly Models pen. Look at that. There's Batman. I bet, man. There's three that I know of. There's quite a few, but there's the sort of the ones. There's the Primaris ones now that you get. This will be a really bad drawing, but they've got the kind of bit on the side there and the thing here, and they have the eyes, and then they have the it's the bit with the things like that. That's the Primaris ones, the new ones. and they have the tubes coming out. Before them, I know you can't really see it very well. Let me zoom in a bit for you. That's the Primaris ones. Before them, you had the guys that were like same kind of top of the head, so they had the eyes there like that, and the top here with the little thing on the top, and the bits down the side. But then they had this kind of like mouth like that, the bit down the middle, and it had like the grill there, and it was all right. It was they had like tubes and stuff, and it was all right. But I never quite really liked that shape. It was just like a bit down the middle. So from the side, they'd be just like a little bit there, and they'd have some eyes. So it was all right, that kind of shape there. But the old beaky ones, like they literally had like the head would be here like that, and then they'd have just this beak sticking out, some slight bits down the side and the bit on the ear. And it's like, yeah, that's proper 1980s. That is. So that's the really old stuff. That's what came in like the 90s up to like the 2014 or something, and then the Primaris came in. And I have to say, I do like the Primaris. They are of all the helmet designs, they are my favourites by far. I can't really draw. I'm not very good at drawing these guys, but you know what I mean. You get what I mean. I do like the helmets on the Primaris, but I just like the realistic proportions as well. I think it looks much more interesting and much more cool, and lends itself to more realistic painting as well. They are Mark 6 helmets, bud. They fit Primaris, says Simon Reynolds. Mordraka said, "Who said the Smurf Marines are the True Marines heretical? The True Marines are Dark Angels or the Wolf Pup?" Says Moore. It was Dave at Butcher That Model in chat. There you go. Paul says, "Fox said a rude word on the stream." I did. I said a rude word. There's going to be monetization. Reese says, "I've been bad and got some Harlequins and Deathwatch too." Harlequins. You're going to be painting them for a long time because you have to do the Harlequin pattern. There is a good tutorial on Warhammer TV. I think it's Duncan that does it. He shows you how to paint the Harlequin pattern. The way he shows you is quite straightforward and simple, but it's actually not a bad way of doing it. Sai says, "So Primaris and Mark 10 armour, there are obviously 9 variants before that. Every variant is represented through various kits." Cynical Max Steve said he had his own Space Marines chapter half a lifetime ago. Emperor's Pride with a lion badge, terracotta and orange colours. They are probably in the loft at my dad's back in Wales. Butcher That Model says, "Fox, you're pronouncing it wrong. It's Scally Models." Because dad's in Liverpool. Where's in Chester? The old style helmets remind me of the Womble, says Beyond Hope, with the beaky helmets. Thanks to the drawings, they're the ones I remember from school, says David Sanderson. Yeah, they did release, I think for a special day once, they released a one-off model of an old beaky style Space Marine. I think they did it for one day or something. But you still see him around. You still see him in various kits and stuff. Corvus helmets are the beaky ones. There you go, says Mordraka. Right, should we do some giveaways? Look at this mess. Look at this mess. Chris, that's your fault. It's your fault, that is. Right, let me just make sure we are in focus. So, like I said, I went to the Warhammer store, to the Warhammer Day yesterday, and I got 3 spare pins, the Warhammer Day pins. Again, these aren't going to be rare. I'm sure they're just going to be generic pins. They just happen to say Warhammer Day on the packaging, and that's it. And next year it'll say Warhammer Day 2020. There you go. But yes, I got 3 of these. So instead of stickers, we're going to give these 3 away. So it's going to be the same as usual, though. I'm going to ask the questions. Before we do anything, at this point in the stream, I would say don't forget, there's always a lag now between the video that you're looking at with your eyes, the video here on the telly box, and the typey chat. So before you do anything, I need you to hit the refresh button on your browser and drag the slider across when it reloads all the way to the right hand side. So refresh and drag, and that'll just reduce any gap between the chat and the video. Simon Reynolds has sent me some pictures of Funko Pops in bits. Jolly good. I thank you very much for that. While I'm waiting for you to refresh, don't forget, of course, if you'd like to support this channel, if you would like to help guarantee that this channel continues to live. I do this for my living. This is what I do day in, day out to earn a crust, an honest crust. And I don't earn much of a crust, but I earn a little bit of a crust. But if you would like to help me continue to do this and bring you content and so on, help keep this channel going, then do consider, first and foremost, of course, if you want to, you can support me on Patreon, which is patreon.com/modelmakingguru. You can support me with anything you want from $1 upwards, as much or as little as you like. There are various rewards for being a patron, and when I start the build of the Master Grade Cesabi in the next week or so, that will be a Patreon exclusive series, so do keep your eye out for that if you're a patron. But yeah, do go and have a look on Patreon, see if you'd like to support me, if you'd like to. There are various rewards. Like I say, people who support me on the top tier, the $100 or more a month, after 12 months continuous support, they do get a Warhammer kit of their choice as a thank you, and that's every 12 months, not just a one-off. Or if you want to support me, there is also a merchandise store. There's a link below this video. I do have a merch store with a small range at the moment of t-shirts. Go and have a look. And last of all, I do have an Amazon store. There is again a link in the description below. Do go and have a look if you want to pick something up from Amazon, like tools for model making or paints and stuff. Have a look at my Amazon store first and see if it's in there. If it is, get it through there and it makes me a tiny bit of money. If it's not there, just give me a shout. I can add it to my Amazon store. All the links are in the description below this video. Right, you should all have refreshed by now. I shall take a swig of tea. Also, I did say last week there may be a big announcement this week. It's going to be next week now, maybe, I think, hopefully. There was supposed to be a big announcement today, but I can't do it yet, so that'll be maybe next week. Shh. Right, so we're going to give these three away. So it's going to be the same as always. I'm going to ask you a question, and whoever gets the question right first in the chat wins a pin. Now, don't forget, of course, the chat I'm looking at here on this very iPad. I will bring it forward. I'll bring it here so you can see with your own eyes. When you type in your answer, it appears on your chat straight away because it's gone from your keyboard to your monitor. It's gone that far. Yeah. It's all bits on here now. This is the actual order that YouTube receives the chat in. I'm just going to make sure I'm on live chat and not on top chat. Let me just do that very quickly. So just because it's first on your chat, there's a lot of chat there. Wow, you guys are talking a lot. Yeah, we're on live chat. Just because it's first on your screen doesn't mean it's going to be first on all the screens in the world. So I go off the YouTube chat. This is the chat as it would appear when you watch the stream back later on. So don't be upset if you're first in chat on your screen, but I call on somebody else because they're on here. So there you go. So let's have a look. Don't we at least get a hint about the upcoming big announcement? I can't because it's not even confirmed yet. It's something that might happen. Hopefully. Hopefully it will happen. It's not that exciting, but it's just there. But I've not had absolute confirmation of it yet. No, I'm not running for president. Vote Wolf 2020. No, don't. Right, so anyway, yes. So I'm going to ask a question. First answers I see are the correct. I would say with this, though, unlike the normal sticker stuff where you can win all three because it's usually Simon that gets all three, with these, I'm going to restrict it to one per person because I've got three and it's possible these might be one-offs, and if they are, it's unfair if one person gets all three. I've had a lot of you saying, I really wanted one, I didn't get one. So I'm going to do it to one for each person. So if you win one, don't answer the question for the next one because that just gets confused. Don't win it again and then say, can I give it to someone else? So don't do that. That's not good. So I've got to think of some questions. First of all, I will need to get the... I've got the pen ready later on for the number on the back of my hand. So I shall think of some questions. So first off, I shall ask about a thing. And the thing I will ask about is... I don't know what I'm going to ask about now. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Bip-boo-doo-boo-doo. Okay, here we go. When I went into the Warhammer store yesterday, there were 3 things that they were giving away. Well, not giving away, but the 3 things they were selling to celebrate Warhammer Day. One of them was the Funko Pop. The second one was the female Sisters of Battle Lady Amalia, whatever her name was. The third thing was what? What was the third thing you could buy? Go. Just a rough explanation of what it was. And before I've even finished taking a breath, George Gabriel has said objective markers. Well done. Objective markers. Yeah, you can get this beautiful set of metal, yeah, made by Mattel. Metal objective markers. So, well done, George. I'm going to choose one for you. You get one of these. George, I am going to be sending, I need to do it today. I'm going to send later on today. I'm going to post to Dad all your stickers because Dad's sending you some stuff. I hope he hasn't done it yet. I'm going to be sending Dad some stickers and bits. I'll include the badge in the envelope for you. So well done, George. You've got yourself that. But however, do send me an email. If you win one of these, you need to send me an email to fox@modelmakingguru.com and just say that you won the Warhammer Day pin. And give me your name and address. I know I've already got yours, George, but mail me anyway, so it's in there. So yes, I will get this included with the other stuff I'm sending to Dad. Let's have a look. Everybody said the objective markers, badges, pins. No, these were free. These were freebies. These were. The other thing they were giving away was a little, in my local store, was little tiny bits of flapjack and cake, and I had many of those. Many of those. Mephiston Red, says Dad. Mephiston Red. I did put a video up in the Boom Hut as well of Duncan doing a demonstration painting a squig, but every colour was Mephiston Red. Yeah, it was a bit rubbish, but it was fun. Right, so there we go. So that's George has won one of those. That's one for George. I've got a really itchy nose. I don't know why. Normally means I'm lying, but I don't lie about anything, me. Oh, right. So next question, if I can think of one. Lol, saw that model making guru. What? Oh, the other video. Let's have a second question. Doobadoo, 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 boo. Okay, everybody ready? Everybody ready? Here's a question for you. Who is Duncan's best friend in the whole wide world? Go. It's a Warhammer TV question. Who is Duncan's best friend in the whole wide world? George, you can't answer this because you've already won one. Simon Reynolds is straight in and with Peachy. Yes, Duncan and his best mate in the world, whole wide world, is Peachy. Peachy's best mate in the whole world is Duncan. It's kind of sweet, really. Yes, well done, Simon Reynolds. You've won yourself a badge, so well done. You just send me an email. Stevie and Junior Outdoors says you. I wish. Yep, so well done. That's kind of a rubbish sticker, really, but there you go. Dad says, bloody hell, Si. Paul Tomasa says, no idea what you're talking about. Oh, you need to go and watch Warhammer TV, dude. Okay, right, so last question. I've got one more question to go. We're going to make it easy for everybody because I'm going to write a number on the back of my head. Now, I'm going to say for this one, to make it interesting, you can't just type in a row of numbers, 1, 2, 3. You get one answer each. Well, not one answer each, but don't just do 1, then 2, then 3. That's cheating a bit. Simon Reynolds says next year it better be a squig pin. Some squig pin. Right, so I'm going to write a number. Oh, shall I do a number on hand? Shall I do something else? Yeah, we'll do a number on because then it's a free-for-all. Then it's just really fastest finger first. So I'm going to write a number on the back of my hand. And I shall do the number. It will be, I'm not going to tell you what it is. But I looked at something in my room and it told me the number. So, here we go. Ready? I've written a number on my hand. It is between... Everybody's going, ready? It is between 23 and 33. Go. I had to say that as quickly as possible so people can't just get all the numbers ready. It's between 23 and 33. Do-do-do, diddle-doodle-doodle-doo. I love doing this, it's great. The print guru is there with the first one to say 25, and the number is indeed 25 because I looked across my room at the live concert version Zaku Warrior that Paul from Glued to the Sprue and Team Inept sent me, which is high grade kit 25, and it is indeed 25. So the print guru, well done, you've won yourself a Warhammer Day 2019 pin. As always, just send me an email to fox@modelmakingguru.com and just tell me your name and address and tell me that you've won the Warhammer pin. All three of you need to do that. Now remember, if you are owed stuff from the past, if you've won a sticker in the last, say, 3 or 4 months, it's entirely possible it hasn't been sent out yet because I'm exceptionally lazy and I also don't often get a chance to get to the post office. A lot of the UK ones were sent out weeks ago. The non-UK ones, I'm still collating a big pile of stickers to send off. So don't panic, you will get them, and I'm just collating them and more. So if you have won stickers before and you've not received them yet, you'll get them. If you're waiting, if you just want one of these prizes and you're waiting on stickers, send me another email anyway. So there you go. Well done to you three. You've now won a pin each. George, I will include one in my pile of stuff to send to Dad to send to you. So there you go. But those are those three. Well done, everyone. Close but no cigar, says Edwin. Well, thank you everyone for playing that game. Silly game. Oh. We'll see. I always try and snag some bits when I go to special days. Give them away to you guys. Right. I was going to do something then. Nope, never mind. I was going to say something, but it didn't work. Where are we up to? We were doing tracks, weren't we? Right, it's time to do some tracks. What time are we on? Quarter to 5. That's fine. We've got ages yet. Right, so let me apply the helmet of seeing so I can see. And we need to make some tracks. Let's make tracks. So I need to do this one. I need to get rid of that little bit of rough nubbage. Nubbage! Now, it is on the inside. You're never going to see it, but I need to make sure it's not there so things can stick to it. I don't want tracks not fitting properly. Make sure those are nice and smooth. Almost. Oh, Fox, you're right, Slacky. You missed bits out. Look at that. Rubbish that is. Look at that. Ugh. Big chunk of nonsense. There we go. Big chunk of nonsense. So, how is everyone? What are you all doing for summer this year? I know for some of you it's not summer, it's winter, but for most of you out there in the chat, it's summer holidays coming up, if not already. What have most of you got planned? Are you going away for your jollies, or are you having holidays at home? I don't travel on holiday. I don't go anywhere. I've not got to misquote the ELO. I've not got them travelling feet. I don't travel at all. I hate travelling. So when I was working normal 9 to 5 jobs, when I got like a week off in summer, I'd just stay at home and play on the Xbox or whatever I wanted to do that I couldn't do when I was working every day, because I'm not a travelling type. I don't enjoy travelling. I might enjoy when I'm there, wherever I'm going, but I don't actually enjoy travelling. And I'm a homebody. I'm not comfortable when I'm away from home. So yeah, I'm not really a big traveller, so I don't do anything for holidays. I just I mean, it doesn't really count for me now because I don't actually have holidays. I either work or I don't because I'm self-employed. So, but I don't work, I don't earn. I'm not going to cut things off with that. I'm a spoon. But yeah, what are you guys planning, if anything? Or are you just going to have a relaxing, happy time away from the job for a week or however many days? My brother lives in the States, and over here in the UK, it would be a case that every job I've had, you always got like, you might get, say, 2 weeks annual, 2 or 3 or even 4 weeks annual leave. Oh, look at that. They've put the nub right. Oh, I've got to show you this. What an absolute... Oh. How rubbish is that? You've got the piece of track there, and you've got this little tiny gap in which they put the nub in that little tiny... Oh, that's just... I must... Oh, Games Workshop, you spoons. How dare you make my life more troubling than it needs to be. Oh, that's really... Oh, I hate that when they do that. Because you've got no option then but to go in with a knife. And I hate getting rid of nubs with knives. Oh. What was I talking about? Yeah, so he lives in the States, and I was always amazed because, like, I get like 4 weeks paid leave a year with, you know, sick leave potentially on top if I was ill and stuff that wouldn't eat into it. And yet he over there, when he was working in whatever job he was working at the time, he'd get like 5 days leave a year. You get 5 days annual leave. And he'd be like, what? You've got a family, how can you have... And it was terrible. And I don't know if that's the same for everything in the US or if it's changed since in the last sort of 10 or 15 years, but I thought it was absolute ass that he had really 5 days leave a year. Wow. That's just monumentally bad. As is this... Oh, I'm not going to enjoy this now. I was thinking this might be a quick build of these tracks, but not if I've got to fanny around with these nubs on every single darn track. Ugh. Games Workshop, what have you done to me? Now, I know I'm going to cover these in dirt and grime and dust and filth, but it doesn't stop the fact it's still a bit rubbish that they... Oh. I could go off your Games Workshop, you know that, don't you? Right, so what's that there? There's a bit here I need to get rid of. There we go, that'll do. Let's have a look. Fluffy Guts, the same thing I do every summer, nothing. It's the best thing to do. Because most of us hate our jobs. I don't hate my job, obviously. Most of us, when we have a 9-to-5 job, hate our job. And a lot of times it is a case of just sit around and make the most of the free time. Right, R1, R2. R2, you get it? You get it? Now I'm going to break my own rule here and take these off the sprue with the God hands because the nubs aren't that big. Oh, thank the maker, they've actually put the nub on the correct end now. Yeah, so like I said, when I used to get holidays when I was doing a normal job of work, I just do nothing. I don't like travelling away from home. I just don't like being not at home, basically. I like being here. Paul D. Tomas says, no plans, can't afford to travel, stay at home as usual. Nothing wrong with that at all. You can get all the stuff done that you don't get time to do. I'm a home bird, says Eon's Car. Same here. I think the speech announcement is Mama Fox is knitting balaclavas for Fox's merch, says David. Butcher that model. I'll tell you what, though, Mama Fox, that was the wrong piece. That's R6. Okay, that's that one there. So R6. Ages ago, when I was much younger, Mama Fox used to do. She didn't do knitting, but she used to love doing crochet, and she'd make like duvet covers and stuff and all kinds of things. And she was really good at it. But we were saying about a couple of years ago, she was like, "Oh, I really fancy getting back into that because I've not done it for years." She used to pass the time by just crocheting and knitting and stuff, and she always enjoyed it. But she's never got around to ordering any of the stuff. And she also just spends all day playing on the Xbox, so I think she's more than happy with things to do. So, yeah. Now I'm going to have a look at these tracks when I've got them all off the sprue. There is a mould line down the middle, but I don't know how much of it you're going to see. So as I've said before, I am honest in saying I am a lazy builder. I got glue on the mat there, didn't I? And I totally didn't clean it up. I am a lazy builder, and if I can avoid having to do something that doesn't detriment to the model, I will avoid having to do it. R3. When you're doing these kind of tracks, I would suggest, I would not... One thing I've learnt doing these, when I did like the Lehman Russ and the Hydra, is they go in a very specific order. And it's hard to mess it up. But what I would say is when you're doing these tracks, don't get the first piece out and glue it on, and then go and cut the second piece off the sprue and clean it up and glue it on, and then do the same with the third and fourth. Don't unwork your way slowly around, because what you can do without realising it is get all the pieces on, and if one of them is ever so slightly out, then by the time you get to the end, they're all slightly out and you've made a right mess of it. I tend to get all the parts off the sprue, but keep them in the right order. Get them all cleaned up, and then I can loosely put them together and start seeing where everything goes, and I can figure out and make sure everything's in the right place then, because the extra thin will give you time to move things around. Just don't go piece by piece really slowly, because you will just end up eventually, trust me, you'll leave it so long that something goes horribly wrong. Yeah, I don't do travelling much. I've only ever left this country 3 times. I've been to Gran Canaria once, Tenerife once, and France once. No, actually, tell a lie, France twice. But once was holiday and once was a business trip. I'm not a big traveller. 4 is the big long one. Now, if you notice, I'm going around the sprues a certain way. It's because I'm making sure I can get the piece of tree sprue at the back end of the blades. With Games Workshop nubs, they're actually higher up. There's a top and a bottom. They're higher up at the, like on the bottom bit here. They're flush to the bottom bit. So if you go from underneath, you can get the nub right down into the crook of the blades here. If I go from that side, I'll be trying to cut it off the sprue with the tips, and that's how you break your god hands. So don't do that. We shall have a look at the chat in a moment and see what your holiday or summer plans are. Actually, most of the people I know in real life, to be honest, don't really go anywhere on holiday. They just have a summer break and just relax and do things around the house and spend time with their families. I don't know that many people that actually go anywhere or do anything on the holidays. It's just all too expensive nowadays. And most of it's just touristy crap anyway. So that's there. So we've got, I don't know if you can see on camera here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I've got the diagram and the instructions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I'm trying to do is mimic that on the desktop here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 because I cut that off early. So next one is 5. 5, das ist richtig. 5. R5. What do I have for tea tonight? I don't know what I'm having for tea tonight. I haven't decided yet. Thankfully, it's only that one piece of track that had the nub in the little recess. Thankfully. That's 5. 6. And the last one will, of course, be number 7. Numero 7. Numero 7. Oh no, this one's got nubs in the oh, you little bugger. This one's got a nub in the recess as well. I hate that. Oh. Come on. You could have just moved the nub a centimetre and had it not right in the middle of a recess. Oh, that's so annoying. Because there's no way to get nippers in there. The only way is to... Oh. I don't know. That's not used. Look at the file. Yes, I'll have a look at the chat in a moment and see what you're all saying. Oops. Cynical Man says, off to Marmaris in Turkey in September. First time off in over a year as my lovely employers are rubbish when it comes to leave. Oops. Turkey, you say? Very nice. Edwin RSA, welcome Edwin, says, should have hit the sack 2 hours ago but didn't feel sleepy at all. Cool, then I'm glad we get the benefit of your company as a result. But if you feel sleepy, do go to bed. Last couple of days, because it's been warm, I normally go to bed about like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. But last couple of days, because it's been warm, I'm sitting there at midnight and my eyes are drooping. I'm like, oh, I need to go to sleep. And I actually slept through. I don't have an alarm set, but I have the wake up thing on my iPhone. Which plays delicate twinkly music slowly and builds up the volume to wake you up gently rather than an alarm going off. I totally slept through it. I didn't even know it turned itself off after 10 minutes, but I totally slept through it. Right, so there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to assemblate these in a specific orders. Let's have a quick look at the chat before I do. Yep, they do that on the Death Guard backpacks. I was swearing by the gods over it yesterday. Yeah, it's like when you get the nub between the two. You mean like on the little... Because you get the bulk of it, and then you get the little sort of thrusters on the back, down at the bottom, don't you? Like 2 there and 2 there, and you get a bit between them. Oh, or the bit that's down at the bottom on normal Space Marines. Oh. Dad says, anyone hear the Moomins? I don't know what that is. Paul Di Tommaso says, oh cool, just check Fox's merch store and they have my size for t-shirts. Yes, we have many sizes. Yeah, do go and check out the merch store. There's a link in the video, below the video. There's not a lot in there, but I do need to do some. I do need to get some more stuff out there. I need to get, like, you know, not too thin coats. Well, I can't do that. I need to get, like, Slap It On, I think, is one of them I need to do, and some other bits and bobs. I nearly had the thought of doing that Warhamster thing, but I can't because that's for Chris, so he can do that. I can't do that. But yes, I've got some other bits and bobs I need to put onto t-shirts and things. Bye, says Dad. I put the address in the chat, but I've got nowhere to paste it in, so it's in the description. Fox, make a shirt with a small model making guru on the front of a classic tee. You mean like a breast pocket logo? I can do that. Don't mention KFC, says Dad. Oh God. Let's have a look. Osric had 3 weeks travelling through Mexico and Cuba this year. Loved it. Cool. Mexico, Cuba. David Butch, that model, says, she who farts in bed is taking the kids to Seoul for 3 weeks. I'm moving the man cave up to the 3rd floor. Jolly good. Snowman says, no holidays ever. No, that's bad. Chris says, does that mean I can do the hamster? Yes, technically it's your show. I don't know if you want to pay me some money. I don't know how it will work. I kind of drew it, but it took me like an hour and 2 hours. Yes, you can do merchandise. You can put the hamster on merchandise if you want. I don't mind. I expect to be in your will there, or get some sort of kickback at some point. If you sell hundreds of them, just remember me. Just remember me. If you smelt Dad's farts, you would know he's a moomin pooter. I don't know what's going on there. Need a gunk wash one, says Aviad. Yes, I shall do one. We will sort something out if I ever sell any. Everybody, when Chris does that t-shirt, everybody go and buy one, because then... Yeah. What I would say, if you want me to, what I can do, Chris, is it'd be worth doing one that didn't have the word Warhamster on it as well, maybe, but I think just the word Warhamster makes it, because it makes sense with that, and Warhamster, it makes sense. Paul Di Tommaso says, moving the man cave to the 3rd floor means it'll be hotter temperature-wise. Yes, that's the downside. I'm upstairs here, and all downstairs in this house is always cool, even when it's sunny. Upstairs, sweaty pit time. Yeah, it's like with Skipper Ted, you know, from emodels.co.uk. He's wanting to convert his loft, put a window in there, a dormer window, and make it into his man cave. I said to him, you do realise it's going to be hotter than the sun in there, because all the temperature will come up and all the warm air, and you have to make sure you vent it out. Colin says, I'm getting back to Warhammer. Never. Oh, there's a link. Dad put the link in. Thank you very much for that, Dad. Thankfully, my man cave is outside and has lots of windows that open. But if your man cave's outside, like in a shed or something out building, spiders. Anyway, ready to stick some tracks on. Track time. So it's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's good to go around in order. So it says stick all the tracks on. There you go, nice and shiny. So you start with R1, which is it's got 3 bits there. It's 3 bits on one end and 2 bits on the other. So that goes in a place. So it says put it on, but it doesn't say where. So you assume it fits there. But does it? It would seem to sit in there quite nicely. But it's not exactly guaranteed that that's where they want you to put it. So what I tend to do, before I glue anything in, is just kind of put this stuff together and see where it's supposedly supposed to go. Because that's not exactly a brilliant fit. It's not fitting in anything very well. Doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. So let's try R3. If I put 3 in there, which is that right around, does that fit? See, this is why you want to not glue them one at a time slowly, because you don't know what fits where. You really don't know. 2, 3. See, that could go anywhere. It does seem to lock into. There's no set place for that to go. best to start with the bottom track first, Fox. Yeah, I know, except it could lock in place there, or there, or there. That could be right, or that could be right. I suspect that's correct. So look at these instructions closer. 2 bits on that end, 2 bits on this end, 3 on that end. Okay, so that's the right way round. That's a great big nub. Oh, fudge, get off. Hang on, let's get rid of this nub. Sand that a little bit, it's a bit scruffy looking. Very scruffy looking, very scruffy looking. I've not sanded these yet, so that could go there, which would mean then this one would go here, like that, you see. That will go on there. Kapling. Kapla. So that one. It's worth taking your time doing this. That's the wrong way around. That one there. This does seem to lock into place in one of 2 positions, so that would sit there. That will go there. Like that. And then this would sit on top. There we go. That would sit on top there. And this one would sit on top there like that. Okay, so that does make sense. That makes sense. So we know now at least this bottom track, like we said, is in the right place. So what I can do is glue this little puppy in. Now I've not sanded them properly, but I'll do that. I can do that later if I need to. Again, they are going to be covered in mud and dirt and dust, so it's not the end of the world if they're not nice and beautiful and neat and tidy. It's all stuff that can be rectified later on. Okay, so that's there. We'll just make sure there's lots and lots of glue holding this on. Much glue, senor. I don't know why I said that. Don't know where that just came from. There we go. Lovely, lovely. There you go. A little bit of Colin Bish Bash Bosh you're in. Lovely. Yeah. Nice. So that's in there. So we can go backtrack now. 2 bits on that end, which means it's 3 teeth on this end. You kind of get the hang of it. 2 teeth, 3 teeth. That's 1 tooth and another tooth. A little bit of glue. A little bit in there like that. Lovely. Sorry, Colin, I have to apologize. Every time I do go quiet, I kind of end up doing an impression of you. I hope you do take it in the spirit it's intended. Love you to bits, dude. Don't ever change. Kaplunk. But like I say, we're going to be covering these in all kinds of nonsense anyway, so it's not the end of the world if they look a little bit gloopy or a little bit rough around the edges. Because there's 2 types of builders. I've always been really open and said that I'm not a builder. I hate building. I'm a painter. I'm a lover, not a fighter. There are the people that will spend hours making sure that every part is absolutely beautifully cleaned and prepared. There's perfection, even if it's something that's never going to be seen. Their skill level is Japan, and that's absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Not ever is anything wrong with that. That's where the craftsman side of this comes in. But then there's people like, you know, for example, me. I'm not a builder. I'm not that kind of type. That's not where my interest lies. So for me, I just want to get to the fun painty parts. So I will still do my best to make everything look fantastic. I will still make sure everything that's visible looks as good as possible. But there's no shame at all. And I wouldn't call it cutting corners in any way, shape or form. Like, see, because I've got these in order. I don't even have to look instructions. I've got these in order. And now I can go back up this. Because this is like 6, 7 and 8 now. 5, 6, 7. 3 bits, 2 bits. There you go. So I know how these are going to go together. I'll quickly try to dry fit them. But yes, there is no shame whatsoever in just focusing your attentions where they're going to be useful. Yes, if you want to, you can spend ages prepping each part and make sure every single thing looks fantastic. Like Simon's got his current obsession with his all the seams and joints on his Caesar in a frame. That's absolutely fun. Nothing wrong with that at all. It only enhances the end product. But I'm far too lazy, and I will happily admit that I don't consider it cutting corners. I'm just streamlining because I enjoy the build. So there's no shame at all in taking the attitude sometimes of you can't see it, nobody's going to be able to see it, it's going to be covered up with this, that or the other. I'll just get it looking a bit alright. I might clean up the edges so it fits properly. I'm going to be covering it up with this, that and the other anyway. There's no harm in that. There's nothing wrong about that at all. You can approach whatever, and it's just, I'm only saying this because I do. Sometimes I've done things where I've said, I'm going to paint this thing. Even though you're never going to see it, I'm going to paint it. Like the interior of the Stormwolf. I did a full paint job on that interior, including weathering and dirt and dust and chipping. And then I put the top on, and it became complete blackness, and you can't see it at all. Unless you shine a torch in there. Nobody's ever going to see that. But I did it. But there's no shame at all in saying, I'm going to skip this bit, or I'm not fussed about this bit. Nothing wrong with that at all. And the reason I'm saying that is because there is a big mould line down the edge of these tracks, and it's blatantly obvious. But I might not have to sand all of it because I know for a fact I'm going to cover the majority of these tracks in pigment powders, in something to suggest mud or dirt. So being brutally honest, other than maybe a quick cursory scrub down with a sanding sponge later on once they're all glued in and set, I could justifiably leave it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not sure. I'll probably sand it down anyway. But I like to think that, you know, because some people love building and they love painting and they love both aspects of it, and that's fantastic. And I celebrate that. I wish I could do that. I just can't. It's not who I am. And those are the people that put the most effort into their builds, because they take as much fun and get as much pleasure from the building part as they do from the painting part. And I'm a little bit jealous. But there are those of us out there that have no interest in this bit of the build at all. It's just, to me, this is tedium. This is just like, ugh. I'm just putting one thing on top of another thing and applying glue. It's not exciting. There's no creativity. Kit bashing, on the other hand, that can get interesting. I do get that little buzz when I kit bash something. It's like, oh, that worked. That's brilliant. That's cool. But this is just glue. So yeah. So don't ever be ashamed to say, I'm going to cover that with mud or dirt or something else. I'm not going to try and clean it up. And somebody will tell you, oh, that's not very good then, is it? And you just say, shut up. Fox told me it's alright. Fox is awesome. Let's have a look. Right. Fox, if you're sticking some tracks on, can we have some U2 or a bit of Status Quo? Neither, because both suck. Status Quo is terrible, and U2, I will never allow anybody to play U2 in my presence without threats of physical violence. U2, oh god. You know what was hilarious? What was hilarious was when Apple without asking anyone, dumped U2's latest album onto their phones and Apple devices. And almost everyone was like, how the hell do I get this crap off my phone / iPad / iPod? They didn't ask me, they just did it. And everybody's like, dude, what are you giving me this crap for? I don't want that. It just appeared on people's iPhones. I think it was when they did a new iPhone and they included it. And it's like, I don't want this. Who made this? This is rubbish. Get off. Aviad Madar says, question. Anyone got an oil compressor like the Silent Air ones? I'm fine with changing oil twice a year, but anything else I need to know? I noticed the volume of air is on the low side. I have never had an oil compressor. I can't give you any advice on that. Mine's an oilless job thingy. I see that one of the Games Workshop sets is now approaching £1,000, says Adster. Sets. What do you mean by a set? Which one do you mean? I mean, some of the Forge World stuff is £1,500 plus. Like, start looking at things like Titans. You can spend £1,000. You can spend 1,200 quid just for the body. That doesn't include the arms and stuff and the weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's the same again. Same for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll go back to the chat in a second. Hold on there. That's one. I do love the build part, but the painting always terrifies me, says Cynical Mank. Nothing wrong with that. I can see why people like the build parts. There are people that like the building part and not the painting part. But that's where perhaps you can maybe then strike up a friendship with someone who likes the painting part and not the building part. And you can work cooperatively to come up with some awesome things. Like if you like the building part, then leave the painting part to someone else. Nothing wrong with that. We have slap it together, undercoat it, and get playing. That's my motto, says Fluffy Guts. Yeah. The other thing with this particular build, this Conquest stuff for me, is that you may or may not know, but I wasn't going to actually subscribe to this partwork at all because I couldn't afford it. But George, bless his cotton socks, came to the rescue. We sorted some stuff out, and thanks to George's generosity, now I am subscribed to this, the premium pack. So what we're going to do, what we've agreed to do, is that once this is all finished and we've done all of it and everything's been built and painted fully, a few years down the line, we're going to split it. So that one of us will have the Death Guard and one of us will have the Space Marines. And whichever one George wants, I'll send that off to him. All the relevant bits and bobs. So there's another reason why, I wouldn't be cutting lots of corners on this one. It's important to me, therefore, that if I'm sending half of it to George, I want them to look good. I don't know which one he wants, so there you go. 3. 1, 2, 3. Thumb got stuck. 3 is that one. So yeah, there's never any problem at all with it's not cutting corners. Cutting corners would be building a model and just thinking, I can't really bother getting rid of any of the mould lines or seam lines because it's only going to be sitting in the back of my cabinet anyway. Yeah, that's a bit pants. That will be a bit cutting corners. But saying, this bit's interior, I'm not going to have it visible anyway, then that's fine. I'm not going to bother with this bit, then that's fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. At the end of the day, because we often get asked this, me and Chris and others often get asked this question, like, is it, I've actually had people say to me, is it alright if I do X, Y, or Z? Like, do I need to paint this, that, or the other? Do I need to do X, Y, or Z? Am I allowed to do this, that, or the other when I'm doing whatever they're building? And the answer is always whatever you choose to do is correct, because there's no rules with model making. There's no law. There's no requirements. It's a hobby. It's a creative pastime. It's like drawing a picture. You know, if you're drawing a picture, you draw a picture. There's no right or wrong about it. It's entirely up to you to do. You do it to have fun, so you do it in a way that's fun to you. There's no requirements. Big old nub on there I can't get rid of. Get off. Get off. Get off. Yeah, there's no hard and fast rules. There's no right and wrong. What's this? 5, 6, and 7. So 5 is the big one. 5, 6, 7. 7 even. 5, 6, 7. 5. Oh, shut up. I did German counting and it all went wrong. It's Chris's fault. So whenever it comes to something creative that you're doing purely because you're enjoying it, then there's never any right or wrong. The only exception to that is, you know, if you're doing something for a competition, then, well, yeah, obviously there's going to be requirements for that. But that's because you're building for a show or a competition. Like if you're building to enter the Golden Demon or a local model, a competition, or the IPMS thing or anything like that, if you're going into a competition to win awards or win prizes, then, yeah, they're going to have requirements. Then there is a right and wrong. You know, if the requirement is you must build a model and paint it in a particular style, and then you build it in a totally different style, yeah, you're not going to win. That's not going to work. But when it comes to your own projects that you're doing just for your fun, whether it's to go in your cabinet or to play on the table, doesn't matter. Does not matter one bit. And especially with minis, keep in mind there's 2 ways to paint them up and build them. For display, because you want it on your shelf, in which case build it and keep in mind that somebody could look very closely at it, or you're going to play it on the tabletop, in which case, in most cases, the closest somebody's going to get to it is like 3 or 4 feet. So that's why you get tabletop quality, which is usually a simpler, less involved paint job that looks great from 3 or 4 feet away on a tabletop. Hence the name tabletop quality. So it doesn't really matter. Whatever you choose to do for your own build projects is correct. It's a good fun pastime. I think the problem is that we spend so much of our lives in jobs with bosses and rules and regulations, being told what we can and can't do, and this, that, and the other, that we kind of forget that when it comes to doing our own stuff, we're the boss. We can choose. We're too used to being in a social structure with a hierarchy, and reality, we're not. Let's have a look. Oh, hello, jumped. Dave, which that model says, I will post some pictures from the tank museum on the boom hut of real tanks with lines of wells that look so rough, paint jobs that look like they were painted by spraying the paint from a garden hose. Yes, Butcher, that model, sent me a picture of a tank called a Tog, which looks very Warhammer and which has no weathering on it whatsoever, and it looks rubbish because it's a real tank, but because it's got no weathering on it, it's just flat colours like brown, green. It's like, that looks rubbish. It's got no pre-shading or anything. It looks terrible. Fluffy Gut says, I kit bashed a Tower Fireblade this week. It wasn't that good, but I liked it well enough. You had fun, that's all that matters. Zata says, I took great delight in deleting that U2 album. I used to like their stuff before Bono got totally up himself. The reason I hate U2 so much is that when I was a young shaver of a lad at school, let me just check about these tracks I'm around. Hang on. In art class, when I was in the 6th form, we used to have art class. I did A-level art. And, this is the right way around? Yes. it got what we used to do was there was a back room in the art room where the sixth form, what you could do is you could work on your projects, and you were allowed, get this, you were allowed to have music playing, like a little tape recorder with a cassette playing. They allowed that to be a thing, because you were working towards your A level. You know, you had like an art history project, or you're working on pieces, so you could have music playing, and which was great in principle, but there'd be 3 or 4 of you in there, and the reality for me was, at that time, the dominant person in the room, because there's always one person who's more dominant than the other, the dominant person in the room was somebody who all they ever wanted to have on the tape deck was U2. Always. And I hadn't heard U2 at this point, so I had no opinion either way, but after 2 years of listening to, like, you know, the same 1980s U2 tracks, yeah, I got sick of it in big style. And then whenever anybody tried to put anything else on, we all had a go at some point. Try putting stuff. When they weren't there, we'd all play whatever else we wanted, which was not U2, but we'd always try something else. You'd say, oh, we'll try some of your music then. So we'd all bring stuff in, and they'd be like, no, I don't like that, it's rubbish that is. And because he was like the dominant male in the group, because remember, we're all teenagers at this point, there's all social hierarchy that you can't really get around. You didn't have a chance. So I had to sit and suffer U2 for 2 years, and it drove me nuts. So I have a deep loathing of not only Bono and U2, but also The Edge, pretentious nonsense guitar playing that doesn't require any skill whatsoever. Also, anyone that calls himself The Edge and just not a name, what a spoon. What a spoon. So yeah, so I despise U2 with a vengeance. With a passion, I hate them very much. I remember I took in... I stuck some of my stuff on the tape deck. What did I put? And I think I decided that I had on me at the time. He said, "Go on, you put some of your music on then." So I put on Time, ELO's album Time, which I think is brilliant. And he didn't like it. And I'm like, well, you're clearly a moron. If you don't like Time, don't like ELO's Time, clearly you're a talentless hack with no taste in music. But I didn't like U2 anyway. I can't stand them. Pretentious nonsense. But clearly they came to some arrangement with Apple that when they released this, whatever, I can't remember when it was now, but whatever version of the iPhone they released at the time, everybody got a free copy of some album they just released. And they thought it'd be a brilliant idea, except pretty much 99% of iPhone owners were like, because there's also, because iTunes has always been a complete abortion anyway, nobody could figure out how to get it off their phones. It was on their phones. They didn't want it. Nobody asked for it. And nobody could figure out how to get rid of it. So like Apple support got overloaded with people saying, how do I get this crap off my phone? How do I delete stuff from I don't want this. Can you just get rid of it? So it completely backfired on them. Everybody got angry with Apple, and it just made people even more angry about you too. So yeah. One thing you don't want to do in any kind of situation where you want people to like your creative endeavours is force it down their throat, because all they'll do is hate it and hate you and hate everything. So you can see now, keeping these tracks in the right order makes life much easier when it comes to assembling it. Once you've done one of these and learn which bit goes where, the other track's the same. Piece of cake. So yeah, when you're doing the tracks, don't do it bit by bit and hope it all fits. Take each piece off the sprue, get it cleaned up if you need to, and then just make sure you've got at least one piece that you can be sure is in the right place, and just build them up, but keep them in the right order on the desk. So you can just go in and take each piece. Because once it's on the desk, of course, you don't know which is part 5 and which is part 6. So just keep that in mind. And I can be generous with the glue here, because you're not going to see any of this. It's going to be covered up with gunk and dirt and filth. Filth and dirt and filth and dirt. Dirty filth and filthy dirt. Dirt and filth. Filth and dirty filthy dirt. Filthy dirty little filth. Filth, filth, filth. There we go. Time are we on? We're on 5:30. Ooh, got half an hour to go. I shall look again at the chat in a moment. I'll just get this last piece of track on. I do like this kind of tracks where it's like multi-part tracks but not individual link tracks. I mean, I don't think you'd actually get to the point where they do individual link tracks, because again, they're not like realistic 1/35th scale models, but I don't think they go that complicated. But I do like this. It's kind of nice, because once it's all painted up and weathered, if you're careful, you can't see where the two pieces join together. It just looks like a uniform, consistent piece of track. So I do like this technique. Yeah, that's that track done. Excellent. We have 2 tracks. That's 1 track and another track. Let's have a quick look at the chat. So what I'm going to do very quickly, I need to go for a great big wee. So I'm going to put you on the holding pattern for 1 minute while I go for a great big wee. When we come back, we'll carry on with the chat. So give me 1 second, chaps and chapesses. Hang on a moment. Ah, there we go, back again. Very quick. Right, where are we up to? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Where are we? Booty, 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 boo. People are talking about all bits and bobs. I'll bring the junk nurse spaceship round for you to paint for me, then fuck you down the road after all. Yeah, I ain't got the space for something that big. Yeah. Let's have a look. 868 set from Games Workshop. Link above, Fox. I can't check a link in the middle of the stream. What's the what is it? Is it what is it? Is it? I don't know what it is. I'll have a look later. That's not a kit. That's a board. How about the Tempesta Sounds Battalion? Oh, these are like the battalion things for Apocalypse. Okay. Dad, do not click this next link. Okay. Dad says, manager in Games Workshop asked me yesterday, what faction do I build and paint? And I said, red. The look on his face was priceless. Yeah. Let's have a look. 868 for a 6 foot by 8 foot anything. I'll have a look later. I can't click on it during the show because. In fact, no. Yeah, screw it. Let's account. Let's have a look. Let's have a look and see. For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, we're having a look at this. Baneblade Super Heavy Detachment, which is £255. That's not 800 quid. But then again, it's 3 Baneblades. Oh, imagine that. 3 Baneblades. And I will get a Baneblade at some point. Maybe one day. Close that down. Oh, wait, that wasn't the right one. What's this one that you said it was £800? Oh, here we go. Right, Ruins of the Apocalypse Gaming Board Collection. See if we can get it on camera so you can see it. Ow, clunk. Apologies. Ruins of the Apocalypse Gaming Board Collection. Okay, so it's... Oh, I see. So it's just scenery and board. Oh, okay. Yeah, alright. 168 quid. 2 times Realm of Battle Sector Imperialis, can a total of 12 Realms of Battle tiles, 24 by 24. Yeah, these are solid plastic tiles. Those are solid plastic sculpted tiles. And these are all the plastic scenery doodahs. 2 times Sector Imperialis Administratum, containing 2 frames of walls, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, it's not cheap, that is it? Wow, I didn't know they did stuff like that. Yeah. Because that'll be a 6x4 foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's quite a lot. What must you get in there? Bits and bobs. Is that the solid plastic boards? Or is it the... Is it sculpted stuff? I think it is. Yeah, it's the solid plastic stuff. Yeah, they can be expensive. It's just as easy, though, if you want to just, you know, as long as you've... The thing is, if you're going to play a game, you kind of need a 6x4 table, ideally. But it can be cheaper just to make your own, make some terrain and stick some bits on it. Doesn't really matter. I think it's more just for those that can afford it. Right, where are we up to? Where are we up to? Fluffy Gut says, I'm never happy with anything I paint, so I just do my best and ignore what other people say. That is the way to do it. Don't care what other people think. Grace Models, Dad showed the manager of mine a picture of my Taurox. Dad says, did he like it? And he says, I couldn't tell the expression was different. Yeah, Chris painted his Taurox in shades of orange. Preferring to build rather than paint, says Wayne Haywood, is why I got into Bandai Star Wars figures and Gundam kits. I say that now, and I also paint miniatures. Yeah. That's why I kind of got into the Bandai stuff, was because I don't like the build process. I find building boring. So when I discovered Gundam and Gunpla, that I can actually have fun just snapping them all together and do the painting later. That's why I love them so much, because I don't have to think about the building process, which is why I don't really tend to do this kind of buildy stuff anymore, other than Games Workshop. You know, building proper model kits just doesn't interest me anymore. Now I know that you can actually have fun doing it with push fit stuff. Chris says he did say he was going to do a vehicles competition in the month and they should bring it in. Cool. You should do. Send it in. Let's have a look. Fox, let's get a boom hut to lynch while I'm going and find that knob from high school. I can't remember who it was now. I've actually forgotten most of the people I used to go to school with. Joe Bowditch says, anyone know where to get parts for a 1/100 scale diorama? Ooh. If it's, well, hold on. You're probably looking at railway stuff. I don't know if anybody in the chat who does model railway stuff might know roughly what railway scale 1/100 scale would be. I know Bandai do some 1/100 scale stuff for their Gunpla, like little tiny vehicles and things, but they're hard to get outside of Japan. Aviad Madar says, that's exactly the same price as buying 3 individual Baneblades. Why buy one? Why buy one when you can get 3 for the price of 3? Yes. I've seen some deals that are actually a few pence more expensive than buying individually. That's the funny thing about this Conquest setup is we all know that, you know, Games Workshop prices are weird and that things are a bit strange with them. So the fact that with this, you're getting about 800 quid's worth of... no, about £1,000. It comes out about 1,100 quid's worth of stuff for about 700 quid. I don't know how that works. Games Workshop, that makes no sense, because Games Workshop don't do deals. They don't give you deals. I mean, they do sometimes. A lot of the start collecting kits are actually quite cheap. Compared, you're actually getting a bit of a deal. Not all of them. Some of them are a bit rubbish, but some of them are actually giving you a bit of a good deal. For some of those start collecting kits, you're getting 90 quid's worth of stuff for 50 quid. It used to be 50 quid. It's 50, 60 quid now. I think it's gone up a little bit. But yeah, some of them you actually get, 70 or 80, 90 quid's worth of stuff for a little bit cheaper. But then for some of them, you're getting stuff for about the right price, the same price anyway, so... Or you get them a bit cheaper than if you bought them individually, but the selection of units you get is not that great. Things like that. Oh, itchy nose. Take me home to the... No, I can't sing, that's copyright. Okay, we're making the back door and the floor. But on my decent snippers. I love that though. Why buy one? You can get 3 for the price of 3. Silly bang, bang, and the money's gone. They need to get the guy from the Silly Bang advert just to do a Games Workshop advert. Walk into this store, bang, and the money is gone. Hi, I'm Barry Scott, and I've got no money left because I went to Games Workshop. And by God, do they know what they're doing. Pascal says, for model rowers, we only have N scale, which is 1 to 44 or 1/160th, and HO scale, which is 1/87th. It depends what kind of diorama stuff you're asking about, I suppose. I mean, do you mean like buildings and vehicles and things like that? Or what do you mean like scenery and things like that? Because if it's like landscape stuff and scenery, you kind of make that yourself. But for things like specifics like buildings and things, he says nothing between N scale and HO, so no 1/100th. Yeah, I'm shocked that's at least 5 bits you've done today. Hey, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 pieces. Maybe these two as well. Yes, I mean, even buildings. I mean, I've seen a lot of people scratch build buildings and things, scale buildings for Gunpla, 100 scale, just from plastic card. You can make simple like building fronts, especially if they're like bits of damaged and wrecked buildings. Simple building fronts and stuff with plastic card. It takes a little bit of practice and to make them look good. But if you go for demolished and destroyed buildings, you obviously get a lot more leeway to just make stuff quite quickly out of plastic card and not worry about it too much. But, in that scale, it's worth asking around on groups and forums that specialise in Gunpla. Because that's Bandai Master Grade Gunpla scale, 1/100 scale, which I assume you're actually making, if you're asking that scale. So asking the Boom Hut, obviously, first of all, because there'll be people out there that have done Gunpla, built Gunpla, and they've done dioramas for them. So ask around in anywhere that specialises, or any little groups and things that specialise in Gunpla. Definitely ask around, because a lot of people will have done dioramas, and you probably find a lot of it's either a small number of sources that make stuff in that scale purely for Gunpla dioramas, because there will be stuff, third-party stuff, or I say stuff that people have scratch built and they'll be able to give advice on how to do that. If you Google, you can get 1/100 scale figures. Yep. There are lots of MDF cut buildings at 1/100 scale, says Butcher, that model. i.e. Tiger Models is one company. Oh, there you go then. That's good stuff. Cars, tanks, ships, planes, robots, battlesuits, spacecraft, bikes all use 1/XXX scale, but freaking trains got to be all special with their stupid GN HPO scales. Yeah, there's a reason for that, and I can't remember what it was. It's because train people are weird. That's why. I think it's all down to Hornby. It's all Hornby's fault. I don't need to sand these bits. This is the bit that glues together. I don't need to worry about that. But I'm going to sand it a bit just to smooth it. trying to take the seam line off the gluing surface. It's probably not really worth the effort. Where's my brush? There it is, over there. What's it doing over there? No idea what scale equates to. Oh, millimeter scale. Tabletop World makes some stunning buildings. For tabletop gaming, that's more fiddly again, because you've got things like, you'll have scales referred to like 28mm, 52mm, things like that. Warhammer stuff is heroic scale. It's not like any of the others. And the figures in Warhammer's difficult because it's not, the figures aren't real. Like if you go and get some figures from, say, Fallout Wasteland Warfare, they're realistic figures, and they're 28mm, I think, which equates to about 1/43 scale or something weird like that. But they're 28mm figures, I think. Warhammer is different because the Warhammer stuff is heroic scale, which is, the figures don't have realistic proportions. If you look at, say, Imperial Guard dudes, the heads are kind of 1/35 size, but the proportions of the bodies are weird. They're kind of squat and lumpy. And although it kind of makes sense when you see it in Warhammer, if you were to put it next to an actual figure, it wouldn't make any sense at all. So there's no actual real direct scale equivalent for Warhammer, but you can get away with 1/35 scale just about for vehicles and things, and sometimes for other things like, you know, scenery and stuff. When I did the Imperial Skitterbill, which was a TACOM AML-90, it's a real-world armoured vehicle. That was a 1/35 scale armoured vehicle, the AML-90. But there's nothing on the vehicle that tells you how big it is. There's no windscreen, there's no interior steering wheel. It's just an armoured vehicle. And there's nothing to say how big the wheels actually are, or any of that vehicle. So you can kind of get away with it because a Warhammer figure fit in the cupola on the top. So it looked perfectly natural with a Warhammer tank commander sticking out the top, because there's nothing on the vehicle that told you how big it is actually in real life. Other than, you know, maybe the spade on the side and stuff. But even then, it worked perfectly. And a lot of people who play Deathcore of Krieg, because Forge World kits are so expensive, they might have like a squad of Deathcore of Krieg dudes and some other bits and bobs. But until they can afford to buy some of the tanks, what I've seen people do is take, say, Tamiya 1/35 Panzer IV and build it up and paint it up as Deathcore, and have a Deathcore tank commander sticking out the top. Because there's nothing on the vehicle that specifically denotes how big or small or fat or tall or thin it is, it kind of just works. And they look kind of Deathcore anyway. And they can play those with the agreement of everybody else on the table. They have to play it as an existing proper Warhammer thing, but they use it as a substitute model. So, yeah, some 1/35 stuff you can get away with, purely as long as it's got nothing on there that suggests how big it is. You know, like if it was, say, an open top vehicle, it wouldn't work because you can see how big the driver's seat is and the steering wheel, and it wouldn't necessarily fit. But like a tank or a completely enclosed APC with no obvious scale suggestion on it, you get away with that. So it's the same with those scales as well. Sometimes you can get away with mixing and matching things as long as there's nothing inherently in either of them that tells you how big something is. Oops, swig. Like, you know, you might get away with, say, a 1/100 scale mobile suit and a 1/144 scale armoured car, sort of, because nobody's going to look at it and go, well, that's completely wrong. So it just kind of works sometimes. There is some wiggle room. Careful sanding that door or it will be too loose, says Dad. Oh, thanks for that, Dad. You tell me that now. Right, so this needs to go in there like that, we'll see. Ooh, nice tight fit, look at that. Lovely tight fit, look at the tight fit, like the band, like the singer, like the dancers. Oh, yes. There you go, Dad. Giving you a flash. Bit windy out there. Giving you some flashbacks there, Dad. Tight fit. You having the memories already, are you? Dad knows all about tight fit, don't you, Dad? Okay, that's going to go in there like that, was it? Where's the hole? ping. So that's going to go like that. I would hope that would stay open or closed by itself. It might be a very loose fit. It probably would be. However, what I'm planning on doing is... I was debating whether to do the interior on this. But I don't know, because what I was going to do was, like I did with the Taurox, build the lower half of the hull, build the upper half of the hull, and then once I've got the upper half done, I can just, if this was a tight enough fit to go on the top, I can leave it unglued. Because the thing is, if you want to paint the interior, then the difficulty is, of course, I'm going to glue these in place. The difficulty is that if you paint the interior and then put all the doors and things on, you can't see any of it. It all just vanishes and disappears. Which is a bit of a sadness if you're going to paint the entire interior and then it all just vanishes. But when I did the Taurox, the beauty of the Taurox kit was that the roof, effectively, the top of it, the roof could be completely left off, and then when you finish the build you could just plonk the roof down and it actually fit. It actually fitted so nicely and snugly that you didn't need to glue the upper hull or roof on at all. And that way I could paint the entire interior of the Taurox, and if I wanted to show it off, show off the interior, all I needed to do was basically lift the roof off. Now I need to, there's no glue on that there. No glue on that there. That. This is tricky times now. I'm just diving ahead and not even thinking about what I'm doing. That's going to go on there like that. That needs to go in that hole there, you see? Into the hole with you. Is that lined up? Probably not. It's not lined up at all. No line up there, boy. So that can go like... I'm going to hold that on my finger. Oh, clunking the camera, I do apologise. Apologies. Try and get these with some glue gun underneath. First and foremost. I've also instantly forgotten what I was talking about, so we'll just move on. It was probably not very interesting anyway. Oh yeah, so with this one, I know what I need to do. I need to get this bulkhead going, otherwise this is 1C. I need to make sure both sides are lined up correctly. Which bit is that then? That is this bit. I'm going to put this interior wall in quite quickly while I'm letting the sides glue. Just so this will mean I can quickly and easily see that I've got everything lined up and straight. Should have cut this bit off first, really. But not to worry, it's not a problem. Get this bit, I'm just trimming this down. I've still got some work time with the Tamiya extra thin anyway, so it's fine. But then I was thinking about the interior of this thing, and it's like, well, if it was a normal Space Marine Rhino, I'd be tempted to leave the top off and paint the interior. However, it's not. It's a Chaos Rhino, and I don't really know what I would do to the interior to make it chaosy, if you know what I mean. It's like, would I cover it in tentacles? Would I don't know how I'd make it mingy and horrible inside. I'll sand that bit down later. So I wasn't really sure then how I would actually paint the interior anyway. Other than making it just dirty and rusty, but I don't think that would be chaosy enough. But then we're getting into scratch building, like tentacles and weird things. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the sort of symbology of chaos enough to maybe wing that quite as easily. So I don't know yet. We'll see. It's going to be a long time before I get round to painting all these anyway. So it's not like we're in a rush. I'll get the top bit and the bottom bit built. And then I won't glue the top to this lower hull. And then when it comes to painty time, I can make a judgment call. And I can say, yep, I can paint the interior. Or no, I'm not going to paint the interior. So we'll just get them glued on there. I do get quite generous with this extra thin. But I like to make sure things are stuck together quite nicely. Okay, so we've got there. Now that as it is right now, I'll get rid of them nubs later on. You've got that interior wall there. You can see there's like a bolter on the wall and some control panels and stuff. That's still eminently accessible. I can still easily get in there to paint all those details with my brush. Not a problem whatsoever. Not a problem at all. Now that wall's in there, that should hopefully mean that everything's lined up for anything going on top. Shouldn't have any problems with fit or finish. Hopefully. You never know. Door on the back. Yeah, that totally... Yeah, Dad, you're right, look. Yeah, that's not going to stay. But then again, there might be a bit that goes over the top, so we'll wait and see what's up when the roof's on. Yeah. Not to worry, eh? If crunch came to shove, I'd just glue the thing shut anyway. Let's have it. See if we can get them any tighter. I mean, it might probably stay in place when the roof goes on top. I keep saying roof, it's not the roof, you know, the upper hull. Let's see what, let's put it off now quickly, just very quickly, and see what it looks like. We've got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. All these bits are all stressed and horrible. Let's just get this off the sprue real quick. Again, there's some gnarly stress marks on this plastic, but again, I will be dremeling this. Once it's all built and finished, I'll get the old Dremel out and have a good mess of it. So when the roof goes on top, I'll just trim off the nubs a bit better. Trim. Action kaping. 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 You can get out. You put the roof on. Here you go, lads. Put your roof on now, like. It's not fully. That's going to get in the way. Hang on, I need to sand. Sadly, I need to sand this bit because it will get in the way. You little minx, you. Needing sanding? Well, no, I'm just trying to test things out. Right. Yes, that will go on top there, like that, we'll see. It will cover up those other bits that had the... In fact, it's good I do this now because I can make sure it all fits together and make sure these side parts go in. Okay, that is looking like it's going to be absolutely fine to not glue in place. I can keep that unglued. I'll put it back on so it spaces these parts out. So as the glue dries, they set at the right width. But that, theoretically, if I wanted to, I could leave that unglued. Purely for the porpoises of being able to take it off and look at the interior. There are two sort of doors that go here over the top here, but they're not hinged. They just glue in place. So I thought at first you could just open those up, but you have to glue them either open or closed. And if you glue them open, it's still going to be dark in there. And I don't just want to glue them open because I might want to be able to transport this. So, and I was hoping that would maybe hold that shut a bit better. But it doesn't. Oh, you little bugger. Okay, well, not to worry. We'll figure something out. It might, like I say, it might just be a case that I glue that door in place. Because you can... Oh, I'll tell you what I could do. You know what I could do? If I glued that in place to stop it opening every 5 minutes, I could glue the doors but not glue them in place. So glue the two doors together so they sit in there like that, because it's like two doors that open like that. Put them in place and glue down the middle so I can pull them out as one single unit and you can see inside. So then you could do, and if you wanted to, you could also pull the upper hull off. Now, I've obviously got this part of the upper hull to do here as well, So how easy it would be to keep removing this upper hull, but that remains to be seen. But this is one bit that is kind of interesting to me, is this kind of how far can I go with it? That kind of is still interesting. So we'll see what I can do. It might be that I just end up gluing it all anyway and not painting the interior. We shall see. I don't know. I don't know yet. This is kind of the fun exploring bit where you get to decide what you're doing. Oops, slidey. But I think that's going to do us for today. I'll leave that on there just to separate all the parts. I'll give it an extra dosh of glue. There we go. Just to be sure. Just to be sure. Make sure everything's in there where it needs to be. Quite nice though. I quite like building this. This is quite a nice hull. I know there are some variants of the Rhino that have got like big turrets and stuff. And I will be honest with you, I'm actually having a really good time with the vehicles that I've built for Warhammer so far. I've done the Hydra, I've done the Taurox, which was quite good fun. That was jolly good fun. I've done the Lehman Russ, and they're actually quite good fun because they're nice simple builds, but there's so much potential. I've done the Stormwolf as well, so I've not glued that in. That's going to come off hopefully easily now. Just make sure that's all stuck together. So I would say, if you remember, I bought Ted the Hydra just to give him something to build, because I know he's an armour builder. So if you've got someone who's an armour builder and you want to maybe get them to try out a bit of Warhammer, but they're not seeming that keen on it, get one of the vehicles. Maybe it'd be their thing. Anyway, it's home time. What time we're on? 1 minute past 6. Let's have a look. Quick look. Careful, it's not the door. Jungle Mighty Jungle. Painted the hole inside of my Valkyries. I left the side doors open. The door on my Stormwolf is openable at the front because it's got a door on the front that's exactly the same as that, and it looked great. Except inside it was just, you couldn't see anything. It was like that inside. So all the effort I went to, this is the same as the Stormwolf. All the effort I went to in my Stormwolf to paint the interior, and you couldn't see any of it. I was like, oh. Interior of a Nurgle tank. I don't think I want to see it. Yeah. U2 posters on the walls. Ooh. Have some Nurglings coming out of the wall and floor. Can you actually get, I wonder if you can get just packs of Nurglings that aren't individual playable characters, but just like scenery items. That'd be great. I like a floppy door. Just got my first batch of Conquest this week from subbing, issues 31 to 34. It says, Dad, cool. It's good that you've subbed. Dad, did you go for the premium sub or the normal sub? All the premium stuff you get is kind of gameplay rather than model, so I wouldn't worry too much. Blah, blah, blah. A Lehman Russ in IDF camo, says Fluffy Guts. Wolfie up for some squads. Lemon Rust. Anyway, yes, normal sub, says Dad. Yeah, if you... you'll be fine with that, Dad, because with the normal subscription you get all the bits anyway. You've already got all the previous issues that come with brushes and stuff. The only bits you get if you get the premium subscription, you get like the gaming boards and all the gaming tokens and some dice and stuff. It's all gameplay related, and the stat cards. So if you're not going to play the game, there's no benefit to the premium sub. Anyway, that's going to do us. It's gone over time now. Not done badly there. I might get that finished off over the rest of this evening. I might not. We might carry on building this next week. Remember, we're going to be working through the Warhammer Conquest stuff for the forthcoming weeks. In terms of the rest of the week, let's have a think. I am going to be starting on the Sazabi actual filming the build Sazabi stuff tomorrow, hopefully, if not Tuesday, depending on the weather. It can't be too hot. I can't do any work if it's too hot. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully sometime this week we'll have the first. It's a Patreon exclusive series. So if you're wanting to watch me build and paint the Sazabi in the Shanghai Dragons Borderlands style, then make sure you're a Patreon. Patreon.com/modelmakingguru. However, because I've got this thing to do a test of the Borderlands paint style, what I'm going to be doing is when I do this, I'll actually film this and I'll do it as a normal regular series for everybody. So at least non-patrons, if you don't get to watch the Sazabi build, you'll get to see the kind of Borderlands style paint job, assuming I can do it on this. So we'll get that filmed as well. So extra content, always extra content. So that should be fine. Don't forget me, Chris, and Ted on Monday for the eModels live show on Monday night, 9 PM BST on eModels channel. And don't forget, of course, tonight, Sunday, 8 PM BST, in like a mere 2 hours, Chris over at Gross Models will be doing his Warhamster Sunday. He does his own little Warhammer thing on a Sunday night. He's working on his mega knobs. He's painting his knobs. So do remember to go along and join Chris. If I'm not in the middle of eating my dinner, I'll come along and join the chat for Chris's show tonight. So do go and watch that. But I shall see you throughout the week. Hopefully, as I say, we'll have a Sazabi episode this week for you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, weather allowing, because I need to get that done. So anyway, I shall say, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Do take care. Have yourself. Be careful if you're in Europe and it's really hot and sunny. Stay out of the sun. Get in the shade. Wear some sunscreen. But until next time, I shall say, as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome like this. Go be awesome. You there, you. Finger of doom, finger of doom. And I shall say, adios, amoebas. No, I pressed the button. I pressed the wrong button. I shall say, hang on, where's my title's gone? Hang on, something's gone wrong. Right, I shall say, oh, I'm going home. I shall say, adios, amoebas. I'm going home now. Bye.